Hello and welcome everybody to the fifth chapter in the fourth book of Alice Baker, Inside Insights. Today's episode is called Past is Prologue. It is now Friday morning. You've had a week that has lasted, I think, 3 episodes so far. Yesterday you met Teresa McFarlane, who is going to be your live-in maid for 1 month, starting Monday. You have also found someone, a very powerful voodoo priestess called Maman Lavaux, who has been able to restore Dottie's shadow, at least for the time being. She has a shadow again. And she basically wanted you to name what you were going to give in return. And you said, well, 1 to 2 years of your life. And she said, okay, deal. But then she told you she didn't take it. Somehow Alice is skeptical.
Yes, although at least she doesn't feel like she lost any years. So it's a question if later on it comes up that, like an I owe you, or something like that.
Oh, there's a thought.
That is not the offer Alice made.
No, it isn't. Then you had a longer discussion again with Sinead, who has told you a couple of things. Number one, when all of this is over, you need to find a way to unwind and let go. Secondly, how dare you give up 1 to 2 years of your life? Because if you do this, then Dottie will probably kill you. And then, Dottie is also not quite amused, or wasn't amused by the fact that you were going to do this.
We got what we wanted.
Yes, you did get what you wanted. Although she said she would happily sacrifice her shadow if it didn't impinge on your span of life. She was also this close, or she actually had the phone in her hand, trying to ring the clinic in New Jersey to make an appointment. But you kind of came to an agreement that she will give it 1 more week. So Wednesday next week she will make a decision, and whatever that is, she wants you to support it. You have also spoken to one person who was ill in hospital with hepatitis, Martine.
Laurent.
Exactly. Madame Bellefleur has already passed away, and Martine's husband doesn't look too good either, and she's also on the verge of dying. And the doctor treating them gave you no hope. They are going to die. They're goners. You have asked for the body of Madame Bellefleur to be released, and there's going to be an autopsy that's going to be done on it, and it's all in hand. Sergeant Updike is taking care of it. Mm-hmm. You've also met Louis, who is he owns a private taxi. Probably it's a private taxi, and he's been chauffeuring you around. He also knows Maman Lavaux, but then again, everybody seems to know her because she basically runs a voodoo shop out of her living room. And you have basically found out that there are 3 places in the Bronx that seem to be of importance. Le Petit Jésus, which is the shop Maman Lavaux owns, the place where 3 of the victims lived, and Le Chat Noir, which is a jazz club, which is mixed. And interestingly enough, it's also a place that Dottie frequented. She went to it at least once, and she seems to have met someone there. So she doesn't really want to go back because the person she met there may be responsible for the situation that she's in, or partly responsible. I mean, it is her responsibility after all. And then you sat down with a map and you did a triangulation, and you found that at the very center of this triangle is a church called St. Saviour's. You made inquiries about it, and Louis told you that he was actually baptized there by Father Horan. So Father Horan must have been there for about 30 years plus, which is quite important, because what you learned from Maman Lavaux is that this stealing of livers is a very powerful magic that is performed by calling on a very powerful demon doigt de lance, which translates a spear finger, that can extract livers and then give them to the person mastering her. And they will then use them to leave their own body and get a new one, or make somebody else leave their body and get a new one. And this needs to be done every 30 to 40 years, presuming that a body usually lasts 50 until you're 50, 60, and then it starts to deteriorate. So it's a good idea to switch often. And that she also doesn't operate during the full moon. She only operates during new moon. So you have kind of like a grace period of about 1.5 weeks before she starts doing anything. Again. And per person, about 12 livers are required. And she's got 5 that you know of. 2 police officers and possibly the 3 victims.
Possibly the 3 victims, yeah.
For a split second, you thought that maybe Dottie was also a victim, but had been brought back by the Mother of Shadows.
Yep, that might be an option. So, but Dottie definitely has her liver, I suppose. So
yeah, because otherwise she would by now be dead.
By now would be dead. So either way, it's only 5 livers, and maybe someone being really annoyed because someone else snatched one of the victims and saved them.
Yeah. So now is Friday morning. You had another visitor. Well, you had somebody call your name. It sounded like your own voice, so you assume it's probably the Mother of Shadows. She told you what exactly?
That she is not my enemy, which I just blankly let be standing into the room, because I honestly I'm a bit hesitant to doubt that. And then she tried to tell me I should go to sleep, which obviously I did not do, because why on earth? I never would have known what she maybe would have planned with me being asleep, so I stayed awake.
Yeah, so if she really just wanted to give you some rest and peace...
She just should not show up and not talk to me.
Yeah, maybe she will learn her lesson someday.
Doubt that, because I think she has fun things in mind that she still wants to do.
Maybe. Who knows with those goddesses? They're so pesky. Okay, so essentially Friday morning. What would you like to do? So it's your turn to do the rise and shine, because you're still breakfast.
Well, the question is, did I really sleep? Probably not.
That depends on you.
She would have tried to stay awake because, well, visitor.
Then you can make a con roll, and it's with advantage, because you're so determined, and you're also fully recovered, so you don't have any physical problems anymore, because the ribs have now healed. You have had Dottie's shadow restored. Oh, by the way, you get 3 sanity back.
Oh, thank you.
So I think you are in very good spirits in a way.
And I rolled a 44, so at least a success.
Yeah, you stayed awake.
Yep. Then it's easy for me to be up early, because I'm sitting in bed anyhow. So probably earlier than usual, I would be up and would go down to the kitchen and would, just to keep myself awake and busy, do a full breakfast. So we will have eggs and bacon and toast, also some pancakes. Tea is already waiting to be brewed. Coffee is already cooked, or brewed as well. You don't cook coffee, you brew it. And yeah, so when Dottie gets up and gets down, she sees Alice in the midst of probably quite chaotic kitchen with a lot of things happening at the same time.
She gives it a glance. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
You're up early. Did
Yes.
Maeve keep you awake?
That would have been nicer. No. You know, visitors that are not really...
You had another visitor?
Well, she's been there again. At least she talked to me. Tea?
What did she say?
And Alice will walk over and put a cup of tea in front of
Thank you.
Dottie. Well, she told me that she's not my enemy. And then she gave me the order to go to sleep. Which...
Well, I think it's good that she's not your enemy, but let me guess, you didn't really follow the order.
Usually if she is some kind of the enemy, at least she's not really working with us. And she stole my stuff. Not a good sign. And if someone like that tells me to sleep, what on earth is she going to do when I'm asleep? Possessing me? Turning me into a toad? So I decided to just stay awake.
Now that would be something else if somebody possessed you. If a goddess possessed you, just imagine what you could do.
She's not a goddess, she's a demon.
Well, you said she told you she was a goddess.
Yeah, but honestly, do we believe in multiple gods? No.
No, I don't. There is just the one, and she is his creation.
Honestly, even I grew up with some kind of Christian background, and I'm with you that there's one. There has been in the past that people believed in different goddesses, but... well...
And she didn't do anything else?
No. Not that I'm aware of. You are feeling okay? So she did not visit you?
No, not that I know of, and I feel reasonably fine. And she takes, what's the lighting situation in the kitchen? How do you light the room? Do you have did they only have lamps standing, or no, they had gas lights and stuff, so lamps that, so she basically holds her hand in front of the nearest light source and you see it cast a shadow. See?
That is good, so it's still there. It was not a hoax just for a short time.
No, I actually checked myself this morning before I came down.
Good. I honestly quite like the old lady. She's a bit creepy, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, she is a bit creepy, but kind of interesting sums it up.
I even like her, I guess it was granddaughter?
Yeah, Maxine, her niece, or whatever.
Or niece, whatever.
Which is a bit belligerent.
Well, I think she's quite hesitant about outsiders asking for help.
That could be it, yes.
We are not the typical people walking into the store asking for help.
No, I guess we're not.
But, well, I am glad that we got the shadow back. Now we just need to figure out what is happening with all the people losing their livers and dying.
Well, I don't know how long it's going to take, but maybe by tomorrow we will know what Sergeant Updike's autopsy has revealed about the dead old lady, if she still had her liver or if it was taken as well.
I am kind of tempted to drive to the Bronx today and to visit the church.
Yes, we could do that. She looks outside the window. It's another fine day.
And on the way back to have a quick stop at, well, the place you don't want to go. So it's a question if you just want to wait in a cab. The main question is, if we go there maybe before going to church, it should be early enough that you might be safe not meeting someone you don't want to meet.
Do you think that, because I mean now it's about 7, when do you think that the Chat Noir would open as a jazz club? Because if you're going to go to the church during the day, when would it open?
Since it's also the number where you can reach our dear driver.
Oh, you're right, yeah. Absolutely correct.
I could imagine at least they're opening after lunchtime.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, I suppose. I mean...
Well, you have to decide if there's a risk during daytime for them showing up.
I don't need to talk to him, do I?
No, you can just blankly ignore them. And if he's getting weird to you, I am there.
Yeah, let's go.
Then let's do it as early as possible in the afternoon. and then do church. Then we are
Mhm.
on the safe path. Okay, then let's have...
Maeve is now big enough to actually jump on the table, and while you're having this conversation, she's trying to steal your food.
Maeve! Dottie, your cat. Not on
Oh,
the
now
table.
it's my cat.
Well, I gifted it to you. It's yours.
Yes. What about our cat?
Could you please get off the table?
She picks up the cat and she says, Maeve, you're not supposed to do this. Maeve gives you the most arrogant stare.
She gets a stare back and then a raised eyebrow.
Dottie sets her down, and Maeve raises her tail, raises her head, and walks into the salon, completely ignoring you like only a cat can.
Yep. Okay, so Her Highness is now angry with us, but at least we still have our food.
Yeah, I think you may have offended her.
She will survive that, and I hope me as well. Middle of the night, a cat in front of my face, just like...
Yeah, that might happen. Okay, so basically you have breakfast at about, I don't know, 7:30, 7:45. You hear the as somebody throws the newspaper through the slot. Dottie does what she always does. She gets up, she gets it, she looks at the front page, she hands it to you, and really is enjoying breakfast. And she says, well, your pancakes are really good. They have really improved.
Well, I learned a lot, and I think the next thing I want to maybe give a try is making like breakfast buns or bread or a thing like that.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
I'm not sure, because you will have to try what I do.
Oh, no problem. I'll eat anything once.
Well, but first, but not today. Not today.
No, not today. Because you... do you look sleepy, actually?
Probably.
Mm.
A bit, at least.
I mean, we're not going to go there until after lunch. You could lie down in the salon now and just read the paper and just maybe have a nap, and then I'm going to make lunch, and then we could go, because you do look a little bit tired.
Well, I did not sleep, so...
There you are.
Having a nap doesn't sound too bad. That might be... Let's... I will just drink my next cup of coffee, enjoy the paper. We'll clean up together with you, and then we'll put my feet up.
It is now the middle of March, as we said, it's probably around the 20th. Oh, well, late-ish March. And you read in the paper, I mean, you kind of were aware of it too, that it's going to be Easter soon. Pretty much in 2 weeks.
Easter. How can it already be close to Easter? We just started the year.
Well, Easter moves.
Still, we just started the year. I still feel like it's end of January.
Well, I'm glad it's no longer end of January, because that was kind of terrible.
Yeah, true. Well, I will also scan the newspaper if there's anything else interesting, society-wise, just picking on any kind of engagements announced or thing like that. Because I've been out of society announced for a while.
Incidentally, you recognize 2 names that got engaged. 2 people who actually attended your mother's ball.
Okay. The question is, the only 2 I'm waiting for to announcing it would be Matthew and dear Pamela.
They are still in Egypt. They're not announcing anything just now.
And, oh god, what was the name of the nice dude?
There were plenty. Which one?
Wait, Let me look at our list. He should be in there. He should be in there. Well, William is in Egypt as well. Did we even write him down? No.
Which one was it?
Not sure. I know when I was at the celebration, there was one that my mother wanted me to connect to that I've known for a long time.
That was William Perkins.
Was it William?
Okay. Yeah. She felt that he had a spark in his eye and also looked and was totally desperate to marry you, which unfortunately wasn't true.
No.
Well, or fortunately.
But well, we got along quite well.
Well, I mean, you are friends, and he's basically he's Pamela's natural cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well. Okay, so another happy couple. I need to have that in mind next time I have to talk to Mother, just to throw that in, that she seemed to have a good hand in laying grounds for something like that.
She's done it again. She's quite successful. She's a good matchmaker. So yeah, she's only not managed to make a match for you. But we will see where that leads.
I honestly highly doubt that she will be able to find someone matching to what I am interested in.
Probably.
Because money is not the most important in the world, and status is not that important either.
Well, it's essentially, especially since you have both.
True, but I'm quite sure Mother wants to make sure that I am married to someone with a good name and money.
That is true, probably. You know your mother so well. One could think that you're related.
Then I'll just put down the paper, fold it up, put it in on the table if Dottie wants to check it as well.
Oh, she does.
I will have a big yawn and stretch. I will lay down for a few minutes.
You go to the salon.
I will go to the salon. The couch is probably already blocked by a cat.
Yes, who basically has curled up, and when she sees you approach, she stretches out to her full length to even block it more.
Come on, Maeve. Make some space.
Maeve raises an eyebrow, opens one eye, looks you up and down, then sits on her haunches and actually moves.
Thank you kindly. I will plop down on the couch and
She takes that as an invitation to plop down on you.
That is fine, as long as I'm not have to, because I can't lay on top of her. The other way around, it's fine.
She lies on top of you. She starts purring.
I will just give her a lid of squirtle behind the ear, and then I will just close my eyes and probably drift off to sleep quite quickly.
Mm-hmm. It's actually quite nice because she doesn't weigh that much, although you can feel the weight, but it's really warm and soft.
That is, and the purring is quite relaxing, and so I will take a nice relaxing nap, hopefully so.
The next thing you know is Dottie's voice saying, Alice, if you're ready, we could have lunch in about 15 minutes. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a heads up.
I will be there in a few minutes.
Do you open your eyes?
Yeah, one
There's
eye
a cup
probably.
of coffee sitting on the table.
You are a lifesaver, dear.
That's why you hired me.
The question is there a cat still, or did she decide to go somewhere else?
No, she's still there, but she's awake now, so if you move, she will move.
I will carefully move not to annoy Her Majesty even more, and we'll try to grab the coffee and sip it just quietly for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. And the temperature is actually quite nice because it's no longer hot, so it's tepid, so you can really drink it nicely without burning your lips. And and then 15 minutes later, Dottie starts laying the table. So she didn't do it while you were asleep because you would have definitely heard the noise, because even if she's trying to be very quiet, china on wood, you just hear it. So it's a nice light lunch. It's a nice Caesar salad with chicken, freshly made. She must have been to the baker's while you were asleep, because it's freshly made brioche. It's still warm. And and then a soup as well. Obviously, I mean it's March, so it's soup season. So she made a soup, and then she says, "Well, I thought we could." The question is, do you want to ask Mr. Louis to drive us, or would you like to take a normal cab? Because if you want to take a normal cab, I can call it. If not, then you might want to talk to them.
Well, you can call him as well, probably, but I think a normal cab will do it, because when we are there, we should be able to organize something, I would guess.
Okay. So she rings the cab company that you always use, and about 10 minutes later, the cab shows up.
Alice would have made sure that it's more like in a half an hour, because she will change outfit.
Yeah. So whatever time you decided, the cab's there.
Yeah.
So I would say it's probably now easily 1:30.
That's good.
So, where to do you go to? So you go to the Chat Noir first.
Chat Noir first, yeah,
Okay.
in hopes that they are already open.
So you go there, and it is open.
Then we will tip the cab driver, wish him a good day, and we'll get out and enter the Chat Noir.
You go down. So basically, the Chat Noir is a. It's a. So, I envisage it to look like this. There are stairs that lead to a basement. That's where the jazz club is. But then there is also the kind of like, I don't want to call it pub, but it's more like a bar thing. They also offer like sandwiches and soup. So they do light bar food, and that's at street level.
Okay.
And the two of you go inside, and Dottie freezes.
Oh God. Or just grab her hand.
Do you look around?
I will look around. Not only to see if I see the man that we met on the street, but also to see if I can see or spot Louis.
You can't see Louis. And you don't see the man that you met in the street.
Okay.
But you do see another man. Well, there are a couple of patrons, and there is somebody standing behind the bar. And you see a man who is probably a little bit older than you are. He's a little bit nondescript. So high, so tall, such and such hair. So somebody who looks like a typical person who lives in New York. He's white. He's got blue eyes, dark hair, clean shaven. He looks neat. And he sees Dottie. And he gets up and comes towards you.
Alice would grab Dottie's hand and would just march past him towards whoever's at the counter. That looks like the owner or person in lead.
Yeah, there is a man behind the counter. He's black, and he has like a very neat white shirt, but he's got his sleeves rolled up, and he's got like a vest. So he looks a little bit like, he looks like a waiter. Probably that's what he is. And he is basically neatly stacking glasses, and behind him you see like the normal, like the bottles with the little thing, this little kind of neck coming out, where you basically then just can easily measure the shots and that kind of thing. And what you notice immediately, because you've got an eye for this, is all the bottles are absolutely straight in line. All of the labels are completely visible, so it's not like somebody just put them there. They have been aligned. He looks at you and he says, "Madam, can I help you?"
Good day. Could we have 2 gin tonics, please?
2 gin and tonics coming up.
And also the question, have you seen Louis around today?
Not yet, but he doesn't usually come in before 2.
Okay. Then if he comes in and we miss him, could you point out that we would love to request his driver service?
Oh, yes, of course, madam.
Thank you very much.
You notice that he definitely recognizes Dottie. Do you look at Dottie?
No, I will just nonchalantly wait for the 2 glasses. Then I want to look around for a table more in the corner of a room.
There are plenty of tables. They're always small, so maximum 3 people to a table. But this is more like a one-on-one thing. And the gentleman that you just walked past turned around and is now standing next to Dottie.
Alice will probably quite clumsily just try to walk between both of them. Come on, dear. Let's just find a table in peace and quiet.
He is nonplussed and he says, "Dottie, it's me, James. What's going on?" And Dottie, let's see how she does. 81. She did manage to pass her sanity, so she isn't bolting, but she is squeezing your hand and it's beginning to hurt.
Well, excuse me, sir, but we have a quite important work chat we have to do.
And you are?
Her boss. Thank you. And would just pull her along. Or probably give her 1 glass and then pull her along.
He looks at you, he looks at Dottie, and Dottie is looking everywhere and anywhere except him.
And Alice will probably just like, what do you think about this table? Just to give Dottie also a point where she can look
Dottie,
where he's not there.
Eyes the table and she walks straight for it. Yeah.
And Alice would have picked a table where there are only 2 chairs.
Yeah.
And she would give Dottie like the chair with the back to the room, and Alice would have the room.
Yeah.
And then just sit down, breathe. Alice will have a close eye, obviously, also on James.
James is looking at you, and he's not happy.
And Alice will start just conversation in a low voice and will probably even pull out a piece of paper and a pen, just starting to write down just sentences for Dottie. We will get rid of him. Don't you worry. Just look like we are in deep discussion and really concentrated on what we have to deal with.
She looks at the paper and she says, "It's just my luck that he would be here."
Who in normal senses is in a place like this as a white man during that time of day? That luck is he will let go. He will let go. No worries. We will just stay here until Louis shows up. And I just want to. Well, I actually wanted to get a vibe of the place, but this is destroying the vibe completely, so it's an unlucky place, as we know now.
I never knew you were so superstitious. You sound like my grandma.
Well, I'm just trying. Well, everything that we know by now is more superstitious belief things than scientific things we can point our fingers on.
Dottie has, in the meantime, X'd the gin and tonic.
I will try to quite swiftly switch out our glasses, that she has a full glass back in front of her.
Okay, she holds onto the glass. James is beginning to circle.
Well, he can't circle us because we're in a corner.
No, he can't
right?
circle you, but you can see that he's kind of moving in circles, coming ever closer.
And in between, Alice will just point out, so we need to figure out this, and then we need to plan the travel and what we have to pack. And we definitely need to make sure that I'm visiting William first, and we need to check on Pamela. And just in a louder voice, that he maybe gets some bits and bytes there. And then also we need to make sure that all the payments have been done properly. And we need to post a newspaper.
James, if you keep watching him, has gone back to the bar.
She will definitely
Mm-hmm.
have an eye on James, but also she's curious to also get an idea about the place. So the moment he's more going to the bar, she's less focusing on him, and she's trying to, I don't know, look at what kind of painting, pictures, signs, what is on the wall, just to get a feeling if this is just a normal bar, pub area or not.
It has it's got A4 papers on it, on the walls, and they are usually for some jazz act. And like, you know, those it's like a poster saying such and such is going to play then and then, but a lot of them are from the past. So basically you can see that over the years, and it always says the Chat Noir, that they have had they must have been around for a good while. But then again, yes, you have heard of the place, not just since yesterday. And it's basically this kind of thing, you know, like who's going to play when and blah, blah, blah. And then there are also some photographs of jazz musicians, you know, on stage, or just maybe a guy sitting there with his trumpet on his knees, you know, those typical black and white jazz pictures that we are, you know, familiar with. Some of them are signed, so autographed pictures. And then at some point, the waiter or owner from behind the bar shows up next to you and hands Dottie a folded piece of paper. Miss, for you. She has her two hands flat on the surface, on the tabletop, and the glass is basically between this V that she shapes.
I will probably
Yeah.
pull over the paper in the middle. Well, thank you very, very much. Could we by any chance get another gin and tonic, please?
Of course, madam.
Thank you.
And she's just sitting there, not moving.
We can just leave the letter when we leave, don't worry. Or we can put it in the pocket and you maybe want to read your decision. We can just leave it here. We can also just put it, or knö.
Yeah, make a paper ball.
Make a paper ball and throw it at his head, if it makes you feel better as well, although that gives him attention, which we want.
She smiles.
Paper plane.
She smiles even more. And then you get your gin and tonic. And,
Thank you kindly.
And then at some point, yeah, go ahead.
And just in between, probably Alice in between will just put in, well, it looks quite nice here and quite normal. They have seen a lot of musicians down there. Actually, I would have said one day we both need to get here for a celebration, but, well, maybe after some time. In a year or two. I guess they will still be here by then.
Let's see. Okay. She She breathes in, gets a little taller in her seat, and she says, I should at least read it.
Your decision. I also get if you don't want to read it.
She takes the piece of paper and she opens it and she reads it.
I
She
will
looks at
not
it.
read. I will study her face
Yeah.
while she's reading it.
Then make a psychology roll.
I don't think that's enough, but let's see. Psychology. Oh, success.
Whatever it is doesn't upset her.
That's good.
But you also don't see that it kindles any emotion, like in terms of, it's just she reads this in a very dispassionate way. She takes the piece of paper, she folds it again, and she just rests her hand on it, and then she moves it like as if it was like a card in a card game, just moves it into the middle of the table. And then the door opens and Louis walks in. And when Louis walks in, Louis takes the room.
Not
he is
surprising.
Not surprising, but in a good way, because he is a very elegant man. And there are also other patrons now. Like I said, I mean, there are a couple of people. Most of them actually drink soft drinks or maybe a gin and tonic. So the hard stuff isn't touched at all. Nobody drinks beer either. And then Louis walks in and people say, oh, hi, Louis. And he greets people. James probably also says hi, Louis. And he says hi, James. And the two of them, greet each other.
Alice will just whisper to Dottie, well, your good friend James at least knows Louis.
Well, he knows a lot of people here.
Well, he's not bad looking, so it's at least good choice. And Alice will see...
She is speed red. Don't say that!
Should I say he's ugly, and what on earth did you think?
Oh my god, you're being so mean. 52, she's okay.
Okay, I just wanted to compliment you on your good taste. I'm sorry. Wrong time and wrong situation for that.
There is no going back.
I know, I don't say you... There's also just to have a good taste in a fun time with whatever comes out of it. You did nothing wrong, is my comment still.
When we go into that church today and I get struck by lightning, we know what somebody else will be thinking.
They will not strike you by lightning. You're still a wonderful person.
Yes.
Alice will, meanwhile, also have an eye. If Louis ever looks in our direction, she will
he surveys the whole room. Yeah, he does recognize you and
she
he
will
nods.
Just wave and probably just make a sign like if he has time just...
When he realizes that you are making contact and not just looking in his direction, he smiles at you. It's a genuine smile, and he waves and he just points at the bar and then does this, and then he goes to the bar. He speaks to the bartender, and the bartender gives him a bottle of Coke and a glass, and then he basically puts the Coke in the glass. He drinks.
Alice will pull over a chair from another table and would just place it next to us.
And Louis comes with bottle and glass in his hands, and he says, "Ladies," and he bows very elegantly, not the at the hip stiff thing. And then he sits down and he says,
"Good day. Thanks for joining."
Oh well, I mean, it's not every day that I have such pleasant company.
Well, Le Chat Noir was on my list to visit for a long time because I heard so many good stories about it. So at least
you should come at night when we have the concerts downstairs. I mean, this is nice, but it's really about the music.
I will for sure, because I'd visited quite a lot of jazz clubs. Not only in Manhattan, although I have to be honest, mainly in Manhattan, but Le Chat Noir, a lot of friends warmly told me to visit because it has been around forever and it will be around forever because it's an amazing place.
It has been around for a long time. Longer than I've been around, and he smiles. And then he says, but what brings you here?
Well, next to wanting to have a look at this place, we just thought when we're here anyhow, maybe you will be around because we would need maybe a ride towards the church.
It would be my pleasure.
That would be really lovely if you would be able to. I know if you have other plans, because I'm quite sure you have other patrons that love your service.
Well, I operate strictly on a first-come, first-served basis.
So then we are lucky. We are the first ones.
Yes, I have no bookings. I was just confirming with John over there.
Perfect. Then well, let's just drink out in peace and quiet.
Hmm?
And maybe if we start the ride in like 15 minutes, if it's feasible for you.
The car is outside.
Perfect.
And he finishes his Coke, and then he goes back to the bar. He has a chat with John. And then after about 15 minutes, or pretty much exactly 15 minutes, he looks towards the table, and then he steps outside.
Alice will get up and will ask Dottie if she already wants to step outside to join Louis. She will just pay the drinks.
Dottie actually seems to be fine joining Louis. Things have changed.
What Alice will not ask her, but what Alice will have a look at, will Dottie pack in the letter or will she leave it on the table?
Dottie actually takes the letter with her. You go to the bar?
Yeah, I go to the bar. I will just lean over. Thank you so much for the kind service. I would just like to pay our drinks.
Oh, that's already been taken care of by that gentleman, and he motions towards James.
Well, thank you kindly, sir.
James nods.
And then have a nice day.
You too, madam. And so basically you leave the bar?
Yeah, she would have started a conversation with whoever's paying the drinks, but she knows better. So she is just turning around and then, in the most elegant way, walks out the door. Because Alice also knows how to fill a room if she needs to.
Yes, she does.
And she's playing that card at the moment, so probably throwing the scarf behind her back a bit dramatically and just step outside.
I can since we watched those episodes, I can totally imagine what this looks like.
Yeah, just like, and then because she doesn't have the long hair to make the extreme motion, so the scarf will be the thing. Yeah. And then she will just join Louis and Dottie.
Louis has already placed Dottie in the car, so she's sitting behind him, but he's actually not in the car. He's leaning on it, waiting for you. And then when you come outside, he basically opens the door for you, waits for you to get inside. Then he closes the door. He walks around to the driver's seat, and then he takes you to, and he says, "So it's St. Saviour's, madam."
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well then. And he basically leaves the place, and then he drives around for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so. And then you can already see in the distance the silhouette of a church coming up with a tower and, belfry and everything that belongs to a church. And he says, "That's St. Saviour's. That's where I was baptized."
How does it look? Good in shape? Well taken care of?
I have seen a couple of pictures of churches in New York, and they always look a little bit grimy. I just wonder if it's the stone that they were built with. They always look very kind of like grayish.
It's
dirty.
Also the dirt in the air with all the coal.
So it if we leave that out, it looks fine. Yeah.
Looks like a pretty place. Louis, would you have time to wait outside? It will not take that long. We just want to have a quick chat with the father. And then...
Of course.
We would need a ride back home.
You go into the church. And Actually, as you open the church, you can already smell it, incense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear a voice of a man, and you make out the words, "For I am the resurrection and the life. O grave, where is thy victory? Or death, where is thy sting?" And you have just entered the church, and he's obviously, this is Mass.
Mm-hmm.
So out of complete habit and completely automatically, Dottie genuflects. She puts her hand in the basin with the holy water. She blesses herself, and then she freezes for a moment when she is standing in the middle aisle facing the crucifix, and she very, very quickly gets into one of those pews
Mm-hmm.
and kneels down.
Alice will very slowly but calmly, not to make too much noise, will just follow her and will sit down.
So this coming up to Easter, of course, in Catholic churches, the mood is usually very it's not Easter is the worst feast in the calendar, because death of Christ, blah blah blah, up until the day when he is resurrected, in which case, then the celebration starts. So it's this really moody, very somber kind of what you call it, mass that's going on. Also, obviously, the wall decorations are very. It's not yet the time when everything is black, but he's already wearing the dark colors.
Yeah.
On his vestments, and the people who are there, you would say, have an average age of about 80.
Not surprising, so at that time of day on a Friday.
Yeah, it's really the old generation that is doing this. And so he keeps talking. It goes on for the better part of an hour. Do you stay?
I will just whisper to Dottie, "I will be right back." And she will slip out quietly, walk over to Louis. And I think after like 10 minutes already, because she's getting the feeling of, oh boy,
it's going to take a while. Yeah.
And she will just show up probably next to the camp or his car. "Well, Mass is going, so we will have to wait a while for the father. So if you have other rides to take, feel free to. If not, if you want to wait or join, we will pay you, obviously."
Well, if you don't mind, if you're saying this is going to take a little longer, I will just go and have some lunch. And he points towards like it's a little bit of a cafe thing.
Do that, and well, I guess it will definitely take at least half an hour.
I will leave the car here. So, and when I'm done, I'll go back to the car. And if you are done earlier, you just go in there. I'm just going to have soup and sandwiches. So,
Perfect.
I can finish quickly.
Thank you. And she will slip back into church and plump her butt next to Dottie.
And at this stage, he has reached the point of, and those who believe in me will not know death, and those who believe in me will know eternal love. And he's now talking about the all-encompassing love that God has for all his creation. Dottie is at this stage in tears. She is crying. She's crying silently, but you can see that this is not just. She's not just emotional, she is crying. So what do you do?
I'll probably just, when you want to comfort someone, just rub her back, just very lightly, but say nothing. I will just sit next to her.
And then it's coming towards the end, and he takes the goblet, and he holds it up and he says, "The blood of Christ," and he drinks from it, and then he takes the host and he says, "The body of Christ," and he breaks it and he eats it. And then one by one all the parishioners go up to the front, and Dottie is shattered. You can tell that she wants to go, but she can't. And
Alice will not move. She will just sit because she is definitely not someone to
yeah.
partake in that.
And I mean, interestingly enough, I mean that the church is a normal sized church, so it's not full. But you would say easily it's about 30 people, which for a Friday afternoon is, well,
That's
not
a lot.
too bad.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and taking the host takes a while. And then, you know, Grace is said, and, you know, and ite missa est, and everybody. I mean, interesting enough, of course, the reason why I understand what he's saying is, of course, because you know enough church Latin to understand, because back then everything was in Latin.
Yeah.
And then everybody.
I still think Alice had at least an upbringing with church and belief, and I'm quite sure her parents are.
I mean, well, you would probably have been Protestant, and you would have learned Latin at school.
Yeah.
And you know some of the things, and basically then everybody walks out. And then the father does, basically then he does his own thing. He has his own silent prayer and he kisses the Bible and what they do, blah, blah, blah. And then he walks off into the sacristy. As he's walking, he's taking off the scarf that they wear, like this kind of, and yeah. So what do you do?
I'll look at Dottie if she is calming down a bit.
You would say she's probably cried herself dry.
Okay. Do you want to join in talking to the father, or do you just want to wait here? I understand both.
Looking like this?
He doesn't care. Or probably he will care in a good way. He will not be offended. And honestly, just to point out, you have not been struck by lightning. You are still welcome in this church.
Yeah, she gives you this. She gives you a smile, and then she says, "Let's go."
Okay.
And she gets up. She genuflects again. She blesses herself.
I will probably just take my, I would say napkin. No, my
handkerchief.
Handkerchief, thank you, out, and we'll just wipe her face a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See, everything as it should.
The good thing is she doesn't really wear any makeup, so she doesn't. It's not like her mascara is running down.
Which would have happened with Alice.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you go to the sacristy.
Yeah.
Do you knock on it? Because of course the door is closed.
Yeah, and Alice would now not be silent, so she would have a tough step. So the usual in church you hear when people walk, and then she would not very loudly, but very delicately knock on the door.
As you walk towards the sacristy, you pass an image of the Holy Mother.
It will get the stink eye from Alice. She will not make anything really, but she will definitely give it an eyebrow and just shake her head and be like, "Nah, you're not going there again."
You knock on the door.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice saying, "Just a minute." And then about, I don't know, maybe half a minute later, the door opens and in front of you stands the man that you just saw, but now he's just wearing the black and the white collar. And he says, welcome to my church. Because, of course, you look completely different because everybody else was black.
Yeah. Father Horan, I would guess?
Yes, of course. I'm Father Horan. That's a very good guess. He looks very Irish. He's got like a little bit of ruddy red skin. He probably enjoys a drink or three. He is not very tall, like most Irish men.
Yep.
And he has a full shock of hair, which used to be black, but now it's really kind of like not even salt and pepper anymore. It's almost white.
Mm-hmm.
And very bushy eyebrows.
Alice will just pull out of her pocket her PI card and will just hand it over to him. He takes it
and then he says, "1 moment, please." And then he does this and he takes out a pair of glasses and puts on the glasses. And he kind of like, "Alice Baker, private Investigator. Oh, I don't think I've seen many of those.
Well, there are not many of us around in the city, but still needed. Would you by any chance have a few moments for us?
Of course. Why don't you? And he looks around. Oh, everybody's already left. And he basically kind of looks into the side. Well, I don't know, into the naves to see is there anybody. And he says, "Oh, I think we can talk here. There is nobody there." And he just points towards the first row.
Alice will just sit down and, well, first of all, that's a beautiful church you have here.
Oh, thank you. It's been my home for over 30 years.
And you have a very nice community in churches around where we are living, usually on Friday. There's not that many people attending. You are reaching the people.
I'm glad you're saying this. I try my best. It is sometimes very hard. I mean, you are a private investigator, so I suppose you investigate crimes, and we have enough crime here in the Bronx, but we try our best.
I'm not here about a crime, probably, maybe. We are trying to figure out. There have been quite a few cases of hepatitis.
Oh, yes, I know.
And
there's been an outbreak, yes?
I'm supporting the police in trying to figure out if we can figure out where it's coming from, because it's quite surprisingly coming up.
Well, I thought I read in the newspaper it was that they suspected the water supply.
Yeah, well, so far they didn't find any evidence on it. We heard quite from a few places good things about you, but also that you have been around for ages, so you know the community around here for a while.
He basically takes his fingers and basically just combs through his hair and he says, "Yeah, you caught me. I've been around for ages."
I'm sorry, I didn't want to say that you look old.
Don't worry about it. I am old. I am a lot older. I could be your father. Well, in a way, I am your father. I'm everybody's father.
But side eye to Dottie. Not sure how she's taking this. But
she's fine.
Good. But we would be curious, have you ever had such a situation like in the beginning when you started here, or at least quite a few years ago? Because we heard rumors about something that might be the reason, which would mean that something like this would have happened like 30 years ago-ish as well.
Like what? You mean hepatitis?
Yeah, a high number of cases out of nothing. And then it stops.
Well, to be quite honest, I can't recall a hepatitis outbreak. I mean, about 34 years ago, we did have a major catastrophe, but it wasn't hepatitis at all. It was the orphanage. It burned down. 26 boys and girls perished in one night.
26, the poor souls.
Yeah, and the owners were absent that night, but they both died. Strangely enough, they both died 4 days later. I still believe that they were heartbroken.
That's even more horrible than hepatitis, to be honest.
Yes. I was just a mechanic at the time, but I remember everyone was shaken. 26 small white coffins.
26 lives that would have been able to do wonderful things around here.
Yeah.
That is really, really sad to hear. 34 years ago, you said?
Mm-hmm.
By any chance, was the orphanage nearby the church?
The orphanage was not part of the church. It was privately run by a colored couple. It was just basically one block away.
Have they rebuilt and tried again something like that?
They have rebuilt, but now it's a block of flats. Well, I mean, it was a private orphanage, and we tried to donate, and we collected, and they collected, but it was yeah. I mean, the owners at that time, they were already in their, I want to say, late 60s. I still think that maybe they just had a heart attack out of grief. Both died in one night. It was shocking.
Also surprising. Okay, well, it was worth a try to figure out, because we would really like to stop this from happening. Too many people already died from it. And maybe a few more will suffer from it. I'm not sure if Madame Bellefleur was part of your community.
Of course.
Well, I'm definitely, my condolences on telling you that she definitely did not make it through the hepatitis outbreak.
He blesses himself. She didn't have a good life. I mean, she was born a slave. She came north with her parents as soon as slavery was abolished, but a lot of them have had a terrible life, and to die like this.
At least she was in a good hospital and they took good care of her.
Yeah, the Westchester.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When they are done with her body, I'm quite sure there will be a service here, right?
Of course.
Because we learned that she doesn't have close family.
Well, she would definitely be buried here in the parish.
Mm-hmm.
She was church going, so yes, and I'm pretty sure that plenty of people will show up to her service. It will not be a lonely ceremony.
Then I will let them know that they should make sure that the body is delivered afterwards to your place.
Oh yes, please do. But why are they holding back the body?
Well, they want to see if they find any hints on how she caught the hepatitis.
Oh yes, that makes sense. Yes.
Because they're still struggling to figure out how it started here and how all the different people got infected. Because even some police officers
Really?
died from it, yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, to be sad and honest, this helps why they are so closely investigating it, because they want to find out why one of their or two of their own died of it.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Sadly so, but that's the truth we're living in, right?
Well, at least somebody's investigating, and they sent you.
Well, I'm just supporting them. They're still doing, as I said, the medical things and all the official things, but the legwork, I offered my support, and they're gladly taking it because they seem to have quite a lot on their hands currently.
And so they've sent you and your.
My
he looks at Dottie.
Partner, Miss Williams.
Miss Williams, and she basically doesn't even part her teeth when she says hello, father. She's very and then he says, well, is there anything else that I can do for you?
Not really, except have you felt anything out of the ordinary happen in like over New Year's?
Out of the ordinary how?
You know the community where there talks about weird things happening. or out of the ordinary things happening? Because everything started with the new year.
I hear what you're saying. Well, Ms. And he takes out the card again. Baker.
And clearly only in the realms that you are allowed to talk. I know that you can't talk
What do
about
you know
everything.
about this community?
That it's quite close. And believes in a lot of things.
Yes, and the other things that they believe in are are not quite sedate. So there is always a lot of action. And there are a couple of feast days around the year when it becomes really, really, really agitated. New Year's being one of them. And of course, the 18th of August. And Dottie says, Mary Assumption. And he says, yes, my daughter, exactly. Mary Assumption. And of course, coming up to Easter. And this year, I would say that it was especially agitated around New Year's, and some people were saying that they were praying extra hard because they felt an ill will was making itself known.
Yeah, that's what we heard as well. So
I don't know how many chickens lost their lives.
Well, I'm quite sure Maman Lavon had quite a bit to do over the new year.
Yes. And it is quite interesting to listen to her talk.
She for sure is an interesting person, and I bet she has seen a lot in her long life.
Both with and without eyes.
She can still kind of see. It's not even surprising.
Oh, yes.
But
you see, when I first came here, I had all of these ideas. Then I met reality. It is either with them or not at all.
Well, they are helping each other. At least generally that's what I have the feeling after all the people I'm talking to.
But if I want to spread the gospel, then I have to accept that they have their own take on things.
They still believe in God. They have faith in Him, and she's briefly pointing into the direction where the statue of Mary is, and she's just like, okay.
Sometimes I think that their belief may be even stronger and truer than what you find in the Vatican, but I didn't say that.
I've never been to Rome, so I cannot comment on that. But, well, thank you for the talk and for the exchange.
You're most welcome.
Helped me to get more of a feeling about this community and area.
Well,
so much.
It was nice talking to you.
And Alice will just get up, will nod her head. She would look around. Even in these times, there would have been places where you can
there is
give some money.
Yeah. There's a money box, yes.
And she would leave some money in the money box.
As you get up, you notice Dottie is staying put.
Alice suspected maybe something, because she would have maybe even asked Dottie on the way out if she doesn't want to stay in and talk to the father, because he looks like a good man. And she will just have a brief look if she's still on the same seat. If yes, she will just slowly walk towards the front door and step outside.
Do you listen?
No.
Okay, so you step outside, the car is there. Louis is now sitting in the car because it is quite chilly.
Yeah.
And he's reading a paper.
Alice will lean against the car very carefully, not to make any dents or spots in it, and will turn on a cigarette.
Yeah, so you start smoking. Louis basically folds up his paper and he says, Madam, I'm ready to go. I didn't... I can read this paper anytime.
We need a few more minutes. Miss Williams is talking to the father.
Oh, I see. He takes the paper again and then he starts reading again. You can see that he seems to be somebody who may be interested in betting, because you can see it's like the horse races and you see that there are things that are circled. And you smoke your cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
No, Dottie. How much longer are you going to wait?
Then I will just get inside the car and just wait there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe asking Louis about some tips on betting, if there are good places here to do bets without being killed as a white woman.
Oh, I could play some bets for you, but I mean, it's not so much about where to bet, it's about who to bet on. And he basically then starts,
I only bet on horses, or if I do card games my own. That's the only two options where I'm placing some money.
Then the 355 tomorrow, Ice Queen, that's a very hot tip.
The Ice Queen.
She comes in 6-1.
That's a good quote.
Mm-hmm.
And she will just talk with him a little bit, because she is always tempted to play a bit, although she's quite careful because she's clever enough not to lose too much money on it.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a fun thing.
So you find out that he never places more than $1 ever.
What a clever man.
And he has kind of like, and he basically explains to you that he has like a little bit of a stash.
Mm-hmm.
And it never exceeds $5. So if he basically makes more than that, then he removes it from the stash so that it goes down to 5. If he has less than that, he will basically he can at some point fill it up once a month to go back to the 5. But if he ever runs out during the month, he can't bet.
You are a clever man, Louis, I have to say. That is a good way of gambling without losing control, which I've sadly seen in a lot of friends of mine.
Well, I mean, I still always have to have the money to buy Francis some flowers when I get home.
That is the right priority, I have to say. Let's say I'll give you $5 on Ice Princess. Ice Queen. And if she wins because it's your tip, 40% for you, 60% for me.
Madam, you have a deal.
Alice will put out a hand to shake on it.
He shakes your hand. He's got a firm grip. And then after probably around 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, Dottie opens, the church door opens. And Dottie steps outside and she goes down the stairs and she opens the car door. Well, she tries to, but Louis is a little bit quicker. Opens the door for her, she sits down and she doesn't really look at you.
Because clearly Alice would have had a look on the door. How did Dottie look when she stepped outside? Did she cry again a lot?
No.
Okay.
No, she has not been crying again. She looks very pensive.
Okay. Alice will...
But she doesn't look upset.
Good. When she sits down, Alice will just squeeze her hand and then wait until Louis is in the car. So back to Manhattan. Back home, if you could. That would be lovely.
Of course, madam. And he basically then takes you to your house.
It's a quiet ride then, because Alice will not ask Dottie, and Dottie will not talk, I'm quite sure.
Yeah. So you arrive. I would say it's probably around about 4:30 to 5 o'clock at this stage. Louis, you pay Louis?
Yeah, and he will get a tip as usual.
And then he basically smiles at you and he bows and he kisses your hand. He bows to Dottie. Interestingly enough, he never even gets near her. So it's basically arm's length is as close as he's ever going to go to her. He has never tried to kiss her hand. He's never, so basically she goes inside, unlocks the door, picks up the cat, looks, and then basically she, and you follow. Go inside.
What do you think about I will just step outside again and grab us some cake?
I would love that. We could have cake, and then we can have a late dinner.
The question is, do you want to join for a walk, or do you want to stay inside?
Yes.
Then?
Yes. So
I'm sorry, Maeve, we're leaving again.
Maeve looks at you, and then Dottie's like, you can have some tuna, and she opens a can and she gives us some tuna, and Maeve finds it all very, very agreeable.
Good. Then I will just lift my arm for Dottie as the sign that she just should hook herself in, and then we will have a walk to a cafe that we know quite well that also sells pieces of cake that you can take home.
And you go there, and you know Dottie really well. And you know that she does like sweet stuff, and she's a very good baker. But there is one thing that she doesn't touch, because she says no one makes it like her man. And that is pavlova. They have pavlova. But unlike the normal pavlova, which you get, which is like a pie-sized thing, they've got small ones. So portion-sized. And she looks at you and she says, I'd really like a pavlova.
Then let's give it a go. We never tried how it is. I'm sure it's not as good as your nan's, but it might be still good, because the rest usually is really nice.
So would you like one too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you buy 2 pavlovas. And
coffee to go is not a thing they had back then.
No, coffee to go wasn't a thing then. So you go back.
Yeah.
And she basically looks in front. She has the little kind of like it's like a little parcel in front of her, and she says, I spoke to the father.
I hoped so. If not, you would have been in the church for quite a long time.
Oh, you should see my sisters. They can stay in there praying for a very long time and not let up, kneeling all the time.
Impressive skill. But well, I had time to exchange horse bets and tips with Louis.
And?
Well, all the money on Ice Queen, and if his tip on Ice Queen is good, we both get money out of it.
That's very good.
And he's a smart gamer, or better, he's just gambling on a limited pot. If it's empty, it's empty. And everything that goes above the pot is for his. He wants to make sure, I would guess his wife always, or husband, Francis, could be both. However, the person he's really interested in gets the bouquet of flowers. That's the right priority. He's a good man.
Speaking of which, she hands you the paper that James left her.
That's private.
Read it.
You are sure?
Read it.
Also, he paid for our drinks. And Alice will read it. The question is, she will read it when we are back home. She will not run through the streets reading it. It would be back home with a cup of tea and would read it.
Okay, so you go home. You go inside. She says, so I'll do the tea and coffee. Or would you like tea or coffee, madam?
Let's just
Alice?
have tea. Would be just perfect.
She makes tea, and she says, I'm just gonna prepare everything, because obviously you cannot eat those out of the box. It has to be placed on a platter, and everything has to be just right. It's Dottie.
Also, let's have it in a salon, I would guess. We don't need to sit at the dining table.
Yes. So basically, she rummages around the kitchen, makes tea. Do you read the letter?
I will wait until she's there with me.
Okay,
so I will help her if she wants it or not.
Okay, if you want it or not, I'm gonna help you now.
I'm gonna help, and we'll help to carry things over to the salon and get everything set up there.
Yeah. So basically, you do the laying of the table. She makes the tea. She basically then fills the teapot and puts everything on a little tray, and then she carries it out, and she basically pours for both of you, and she sits down. This time she sits across from you. You sit on the sofa. She sits across from you, and She crosses her legs. One leg over the other. You can see her ankles.
That is a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's done. Alice will take a sip of the tea, probably take a bite of the pavlova,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and will then open the letter and read it.
Dear Dottie, I understand that you don't want to talk to me. I am saddened, but I accept it. All the best in your life. Love, James.
Alice will carefully fold it up and hand it over to Dottie again.
She takes the letter.
Just to raise the evil question, to get it out of the way. He seems to be a good man. Next to looking quite nicely. Are you sure you want to do this, just us two?
There is no future.
He's married?
Not that I know of. Did you see a ring?
Not sure. Alice would have probably looked, although
She
I
didn't
didn't
see a
say it, but
Because she's now surprised that you're asking this question, because clearly she was under the impression that he's definitely not married.
Yeah.
So now she thinks that you know something that she doesn't know.
well, that's honestly the only reason why it's out of discussion, that he's officially given to someone else. He's not a priest. He's allowed to be with someone. Why is it not an option?
It isn't.
Sometimes you might be surprised about other people.
What do you mean?
He doesn't even have the chance to decide if it's an option. Because this
But
reads...
can I please decide that it's not an option for me?
You definitely can. So he's not the right one for you. I understand.
It was something that I didn't think clearly through.
Honey, love is not about thinking it through. It's about feeling. And she will
Is it
probably
love?
carefully poke Dottie, very carefully, because I know, just in the belly, just like it usually is, well, more above in the heart region, I guess.
I don't know. I don't think it was love.
Well, it was definitely attraction.
Yes, but is that enough? I don't think so.
It can be if you explore more. It can also lead to nice friendships. I can vouch on that.
I don't think...
I just wanted to place the question because he seems to be the man standing his ground for whatever he did. But I get
He's
that.
definitely not a coward.
And he seems to be kind of a gentleman. But well, that's in the end your decision, because it's your life.
Don't think the worst of me.
I would never think the worst of you. For me, you are still and will always be one of the best people I ever had in my life. Probably next to Matthew.
I just don't think it's... I don't feel that way about him.
Then
I cannot see myself with him. Which of course begs the question, why did I go with him in the first place? And I can't tell you. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time. And it was complete nonsense. But of course, the only thing I can tell you is I don't regret it.
that is a good thing. And as I said, sometimes it's just attraction, which is not enough for having a proper relationship, but enough to have a good time. And he's really handsome looking, so I get it. And he has the personality to intrigue one if he wants to. So, as I said, good choice.
The pavlova is actually quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, not as good as my mom's, but very good.
It's quite good.
Very good.
Quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like the crunchy bits in the pavlova.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
she's munching on. She left the busy crunch part mostly to the end, that she can enjoy the last bit just like that.
For Dottie, it's clearly she enjoys the whipped cream and the bananas the
Mhm.
most. So she basically got through the meringue really quickly, and now she's basically savoring the whipped cream with the banana. So, about that thing that the priest told us about.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's odd?
It is. Although I'm not sure if it's really connected, because it's quite a different scenario to taking livers.
I've been thinking, and you can make an idea roll.
Oh God, idea.
That's intelligence.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a success. Just have a look. Idea. That is a hard success.
Okay, now the thing is, what you know is that livers need to be taken to get the essence that is in the liver. However, the only reason why it comes to light is because people die of liver failure. If it was one kidney that was taken, nobody would be any the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Now, conversely, how somebody dies doesn't make any difference as long as the liver is removed.
Well, there would have been a chance to remove the livers and then burn everything to hide the trace as well. Accidents like that sadly happen from time to time.
Especially back then when, everything was gaslit and everything was, like there were open fires everywhere. Because 40 years ago, 33 years ago, would have been pretty much 1898.
Oh God, it's too late in the evening to do
1898,
math like
yeah.
that.
Just 1 year before you were born.
So, like centuries ago.
Alice! No!
Well, the thing is, from that time, we will not be able to really find out much more. I'm still curious about the orphanage keepers, that they died within 4 days. It might be of broken heart because they felt horribly not being there. Might be due to something else. But we will never find out. The bodies are definitely not there anymore to have a check.
She leans forward and she says, what if they didn't die? What if they just left the bodies?
Both of them.
Well, if you need 12 to leave one body, if there's 2 of you, you need 24. 26 orphans died.
That would mean a lot of more people will die of hepatitis. They just started.
Yes, unless we can do something about it.
The thing is, we have no idea whom did they turn into, because they're not themselves anymore. I would bet it would be a couple again, but there are a lot of couples in the Bronx.
Who would now be in their 60s.
Even then, still a lot of couples in the Bronx.
Yeah, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Stand about and hope that somebody tries to take your liver and you're just quicker? Which, by the way, is not going to happen because I will rather, lock you up in your room before you try that.
Well, I'm not keen to give up my liver. Don't you worry about
No,
that.
because when you do this, that's the end of you.
Exactly. I'm not giving up
And
my
can you
life.
imagine what your mother will say?
She would be annoyed. That's the only thing. No, she will be heartbroken. I'm evil, I know that.
Yes, you are very evil.
Should we just drive through the streets and ask for couples that have been married for a long time and are in their 60s? That would be a lot. And if
How about we go back to the source? Records?
We are living in New York, dear. Not much is documented on who is here and who is not here.
No, but who got married? If they weren't married before.
Well, they must have entered already existing bodies.
Yes, but who says that the two of them were already married before?
Well, it's worth a try. We can also have a look maybe where the orphanage burned down. There are apartments there. We can have a look at least around there. Maybe they're still at the same place.
And also, if I was taken out of my body and replaced with somebody else, I'm pretty sure you would notice.
Probably.
So.
But it must have happened ages ago.
Yeah, but there are still people alive. Just imagine two people in the Bronx. You said yourself it's a tight-knit community. So there are two people and they suddenly change overnight. Don't you think that people would find that strange? Those are things that people would remember.
As you said, it's a tight community. Strangers from outside, especially strangers like us, will not get answers on questions like that.
Yes, and so we ask Maman l'avoue.
Well, it's worth a try. If
because she was here at that time.
And she knows the community.
She's over 70. She would have been 40-something. She would remember things. She would have been alert enough and knowledgeable enough to realize, or to remember, maybe without realizing at the time what it was that she was witnessing.
Also, it would be a couple that would probably not request her service, because they don't need it, to be honest.
That's very astute. So we're looking for somebody in their 60s, a couple who are not her customers. And that must be a very limited number of people.
Well, the marriages would be in the church.
Indeed.
So
or at least at the registrar's office. Definitely. And also, we're probably looking for somebody, or maybe even for somebody who is not only in their 60s, but maybe also has taken ill. Because they may be running out of time.
Let's give it a go. Let's call the inspector and see if he can give us access to the records or give us the records that are people within the age and area that we are thinking about.
And we should also get the names of the couple that ran the orphanage.
As well, that he should be able to get, because that case must be somewhere in the police documentation.
Maybe we just, and it would be interesting to find out where they came from. Who they were.
It's late afternoon now, but it's still
now
afternoon.
It's almost it's coming up to 6.
Okay, let's see. She will jump up. She will go to the phone. She will try to ring the inspector and see if he's still in office.
You ring the precinct, and the person who answers is definitely not Sergeant Updike.
Mm-hmm.
It's the desk officer. And he says precinct number 46.
Baker, I would be wanting to talk to Sergeant Updike. Is he still in?
I'm afraid the sergeant has left for the weekend. Is it urgent?
Yes and no. It can wait till Monday. I will give him a call on Monday. Thank you.
What was your name?
Baker.
I will log it. Baker?
Yep.
That wouldn't be Miss Alice Baker?
Yes, Miss Alice Baker.
Well, he's left a note saying that if you called, we should give you his private number so that you can ring him directly. He says it would be urgent if you rang.
Well, I wanted to be polite, not to... Well, he's on the weekend, but yes, it would be really helpful if you could just give me the number.
He gives you the number.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, you too. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you.
And
hopefully it will be quiet.
Well, crossing my fingers, because we don't need more crime in the city. And
yes, you've said it.
She will hang up. She will dial the number that she got, because it's still early enough not to have a bad feeling about calling someone at home.
The phone is answered, and it's a woman's voice. Updike.
Baker, Miss Updike, your husband left the number for me to call. It's, I have to admit, on a work business, but it would be quite urgent. Is he in?
Of course, my husband is in. Just give me a moment, Miss Baker.
Thank you.
Ronald, you have a phone call. A certain Miss Baker.
He will be in so much trouble.
And he takes the receiver. Updike, Miss Baker.
I am sorry to ring you on your weekend.
No. I did leave instructions for the desk sergeant to provide you with my number.
He was clever enough to ask when I noted that I'm Baker if I'm the Miss Baker, and that you left the number for me to call, which is really, really nice of you. I don't want to disturb you too much.
What can I do for you?
Well, on our case that we are working on, like 34 years, it was 34, 32, 34 years ago, there was an orphanage burning down in the Bronx. 26 children died.
Oh. I cannot say that I remember, but if this is the case, then there will be records, because I'm pretty sure that there was an investigation. I mean, in those days, of course, there would have been open fires and, well, you know how the people built. But I would have to make inquiries, but if this is the case, then there would be records, of course.
We would be interested in the name of the couple that ran the orphanage, because they were not in the fire. They died both at the same time, 4 days after the fire.
Without being injured in the fire, they died on the same day. That is unusual.
It is. They were off for the evening when the fire was there, and well, the what did the father say? They probably died of broken heart of all the children that died in the fire. Might be they were an older couple, I think, in their 50s, 60s.
What strikes me is that you say that they left the orphanage and the orphans inside and left for the evening. Isn't that highly unusual? Who was looking after the children? I mean, I'm not expecting you to know, but that's just me thinking out loud.
I would maybe suspect that between the 26, maybe there was an adult taking care. Sometimes you also have staff. I'm hoping that everything went the right way. But
considering that 26 people died, I'd say no.
We would be interested in the name of the couple. And the other thing we would be interested in, although I know it's a search in the literal needle in the haystack, if there are any couples that are now in their 60s that have been married in the Church of St. Xavier's in the Bronx. I'm not sure if we just go blankly up to the father, he will not give us the information, but you as police
those are
should
public
be able
records
to
that could easily be had.
So, if there is a chance on any couples that would be now in their 60s that got married, maybe even there.
Oh, so you're wanting the registry of the years, of the 2 years surrounding the
After.
accident?
It would be
2 years after.
after the fire.
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. And the people you're looking for when they got married would have been how old? Approximately less than 30,
Well,
more than 30.
around 30, because they must be in their 60s nowadays, I would guess.
Well, that's not a problem. I mean, this is going to take me a couple of days to get you the records. Will you be reviewing the records, or would you like me to review the records?
Well,
I mean, it would be probably quicker if you do it.
If you can just give us access, I'm happy with Miss Williams
you know what?
to do the review.
I will send a letter by just opening up the registrar's office for you, their records over the weekend. It's not a problem. Births and deaths need to be certified, sometimes almost immediately, especially if it's an infant that has just died in childbirth. It's very important that they are recorded immediately. So there's always somebody there. But on the weekends, it's usually quiet, so they would let you in if I give you a pass.
Then it's a question, should we tomorrow just drive by your place, collect your letter, and just go there directly?
You can do that too, and he gives you his address.
Yeah. Then we will be there tomorrow. It would be around 10, fitting for you.
Make that 10:30.
Okay. Then I will see you tomorrow morning. Or we
I will see you tomorrow morning.
Have
Ms.
a
Baker.
nice evening, and greetings to your lovely wife.
He chuckles and he rings off.
Probably, I'm not sure, would she have stepped next to me to listen in as well?
It depends. If you were having the phone conversation even in the salon, she would have heard everything.
Yeah, she would have openly, just because also in that time the phones were loud enough. If you just hold it in a bit, both can hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a plan for tomorrow. Early, well, not that early, but early enough. So we will be 9:30 at his place, collect a letter, and then go to the registry. Or 10:30.
I think his wife might kill you if you show up at 9:30. Just putting it out there.
I hope he's not getting into trouble, that he gets calls by younger ladies. I will definitely need to wear tomorrow my professional business outfit, not to scare her. And I think it will help that we both show up.
So no trousers?
Yes, trousers.
That's gonna shock her.
Well, I will wear a proper suit and a nice coat, because that, well...
Alice, it's trousers. It's gonna shock her. But I will be wearing a long skirt.
She will be more shocked if I show up in a short dress that is not even covering my knees.
You wouldn't, because we're going to go to the registrar's office. You have to... Alice, sometimes you really just have to be a little less... fresh.
But where's the fun in that?
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Well, Mary is obviously not helping us. For the others, well, for one of them, I'm really sorry what will happen to him on Easter. But without this, nothing of this would be even happening. Because if he wouldn't die and he would return, there wouldn't have been any believing in him or his father.
I'm gonna make a Catholic of you yet.
I'm just interested in the stories. I honestly will still not sit in church, and... well, to be honest, after all that happened, I'm highly disappointed in him not helping, but then someone else jumping in that we didn't want for the help.
Let's put it this way. She's the reason why I'm still alive.
Yeah. I still don't like that she helped and did not name the price and just decided on her own what her price would be if we wanted it or not. A decent goddess would not do that.
Who said she was decent?
Oh, she obviously is not, since she's wearing my lipstick and smoking.
Mary of Magdalene. Look her up.
I don't have to look her up. She knew how to enjoy life.
She did. And Jesus forgave her.
Yes. Luckily and fully deserved so, I would guess.
I spoke to the father. I didn't go into many details. And do you know what he said?
God will forgive you and you're still part of the family.
No, he said, those that are without blame cast the first stone.
I like him. I really like him. No one is perfect here. To phrase it in my simple words.
What he said was a little more poetic, but it's kind of the same thing.
You're still a good person. I think the only cases where I can't excuse is if you murder someone. Stealing is on the edge depending on whom you're stealing from and what you steal.
I stole $20 from you.
That is not a sin, because I would happily given it to you. And you came close, or you came open with it, and case dropped. That's the small things that we just do as humans, I would guess.
Yes. But in my mind, I still need to be perfect, and maybe I don't have to be.
Well, I know the problem that perfect is a nice goal, but, well, use it as driver that you want to be. Maybe not perfect, just be good. I think that's the learning I took from my mom wants me to be perfect, and that is a picture I don't want to fit into, but I want to be a good person. I want to help, but I also want to enjoy life without hurting others too much, except my mother, because she will definitely be hurt if she knows how I live my life. Indeed.
At that moment, the phone rings.
In reflex, probably Alice will be just like, Baker?
Alice, this is your mother.
Alice probably almost drops the cup of tea she has in her hand. Mother, what a surprise!
Well, I thought that if the mountain doesn't come to Mohammed, Mohammed will have to come to the mountain.
It has been busy weeks, but nice to hear you. I'm doing well. The leg is getting better every day. How are you and father doing?
Oh, we are doing very well. Well, that's why I'm ringing. Actually, I was thinking, your father and I will be leaving town for a bit, just about 4 weeks. Just going south a little, escaping from this chill in New York. And I just wanted to let you know.
Well, that sounds like a lovely vacation coming up.
Yes, we're going to Florida.
I hear wonderful things about that from, I want to say Barbara. It's not Barbara.
No, close to Martha.
Martha. My good friend Martha more or less lives there and uses New York more for visiting. And she is really, really highly talking of it. And should I ask her for some tips on what maybe to see?
Oh, if you would, that would be so helpful, darling.
That is not a problem. I will give her a call, and I will ask if it's fine that I will hand you the number that you can have a contact down there.
Oh, That would be so lovely. Now, why I'm calling is, well, first of all, to let you know that we will be out of town. Also, I'm planning to host another ball. And I was wondering, would you be interested in joining? And no, this is not an invitation. It is a genuine question.
Well, I haven't seen you in a while, and I know you would, and also Father would love to see me. The question is, when is the ball?
Well, we were thinking it should be a May Day ball.
May Day ball. Alice in her head is already counting that if Dottie wants to keep, if we are still in town, maybe, probably. Well, at the moment I would say I should be around, yes.
Well, that would be really lovely. I mean, I know that you have a very busy life, so things can change. But maybe you can pencil it in, just so that you don't take any other engagements on that very night. However, if you are going to be out of town, then of course I fully understand. I understand that William is in Egypt. Maybe he'll be back by then. Then he could be your, well. Unless, of course, he's again with that woman.
Not to break your heart, because you did a very good job, and I will put the name in the couple that got engaged with both of them, because I remember both of them being together on the last ball.
Oh, child, you have my memory.
And they already looked happy there, but I'm quite sure your ball gave them a kick in the right direction. But honestly, Matthew is meant for Pamela, even though you are heartbroken by it. They are a wonderful couple. I'm just waiting for the engagement announcement in case Pamela is willing to marry. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I certainly hope that the two of them are not actually, unmarried. I assume that they have separate rooms in that hotel in Egypt.
Well, obviously to all the standards that need to be kept. But they are also not traveling alone. They have William with them.
Well, maybe you could bring the young William, because there was this spark in his eye the last time he spoke about you.
Well, we both have the spark of art, but not the spark of love. He's a wonderful human being, but not my type.
Alice,
I know I'm difficult.
How about you just describe your type to me and I will find the perfect husband for you?
The thing is, you don't have to find the perfect husband for me. I want to find him myself. I know I'm taking long to find him. One day.
Richard, would you like to speak to our daughter before we leave?
Before you hang up, tell me the date.
1st of May.
Okay, 1st of May, okay.
He says, yes, Patricia. Alice, how are you doing, little one?
Doing quite good. To be honest, quite busy with work.
You make it sound like it's a surprise that you're doing well.
Well, not everyone is keen on hiring a female PI, to be honest. It's a tough world out there.
You're saying you have financial difficulties because you're not getting enough work?
No. I don't have difficulties. Everything is just working out fine. And I'm just glad that we are busy and working on a big case at the moment. We are helping the police even so.
Oh, I see. What is this in connection with?
I am not allowed to tell you.
I understand. Well, your mother and I are going to Florida, as she has already told you.
I will see if I can get you some information connections from Martha, because she knows a lot of places in Florida and a lot of people down there. Although I'm sorry, that means that you probably have to socialize a bit as well, not only enjoy the nice weather, but I think Mother
Well, I'm pretty
will
sure that
enjoy it.
after about 3 days of not socializing, your mother will be so, what do you young people call it, antsy?
Yes.
That it will be very difficult for me to make her stay.
I think. And Martha knows nice people that Mother will enjoy, I'm quite sure.
Well, Maybe I can get some Cuban cigars while we're there.
You can definitely do that. There are good places down there, and you get the real deal as far as I learned.
Would you like me to bring you some back to New York?
I still have a few that Martha brought me, but thank you for the offer.
How's that girl of yours doing? My wife said she was ill.
She was ill, and that, well, took quite a bit of time, but she's good now again. Up and running, all fine. Back
So
to
she's running the house again.
partly with me.
Partly. With you.
Well,
You might want to watch how you phrase this in front of your mother.
well, just between us two. Just looking at Dottie that's sitting next to me. Well, she's my partner now, and she's basically PI in training. We hired a new housemaid to take care of the house.
You might definitely want to find a way of explaining this to your mother, and it will take careful consideration.
She is too good to be just a housemaid.
I'm not debating this for 1 second, but I don't think that Patricia will take to this easily. She picked her for you.
Yeah, and she picked the best person she could pick for me to support.
So, and the new person was picked by you?
And Miss Williams?
You know that nobody's ever good enough for her daughter. No one.
Well, the only thing I can offer, since the new one will start on Monday, we would need to give her a few days, but we can see if after you come back from vacation, you come maybe over for at least coffee or for dinner.
Yes, that would be... Maybe, however, you should speak to your mother on the phone before then, because when she walks in and she sees Dottie not in her maid's dress, she may be very upset.
True. True. But I will do that after vacation. I don't want to make it...
Oh, no, you would make my life hell.
Yeah, so when you're back...
In the background here, Richard, what are you talking about?
When you're back, I will phone her, tell her, give her time to breathe, maybe scream at me, and then I will give her the invitation that you two can come in for dinner to join us, and she can have a check that the household is not in uproar, everything is clean and spit spot on.
It's going to be a shouting match between the two of you, I can already imagine. I will be able to hear both sides of the conversation without the receiver.
Maybe I will try not to say anything and just let her get it out.
And when was the last time you managed that?
Never. There's always a first time for everything.
That's my child.
But nevertheless, take care, but enjoy
Florida.
Florida. And we
And
will see you.
take care, because your business is quite dangerous. I don't want to come back to a second broken knee.
I hope you don't have to worry about that, at least supporting the
I worry about it constantly, but you know that.
Well, working with the police is honestly a much safer way to go than just being on our own.
Yes. Well then, Alice, we will send a postcard.
Take care.
I will. And he hangs up. Dottie's kind of like looking at you, she only listened to your part of the conversation. She's like, what was that about?
Well, next to the shock my mother calling when I'm talking about her not in the best way, they are going on vacation to Florida for 4 weeks. I will phone Martha and see if she has tips or if she's even down at the moment and she would be maybe having the chance to connect my mother to a few people down there and my father to get proper cigars and not the fake ones.
That sounds like a plan.
She asked me if I wanted to join a ball that she will give on the 1st of May. And I said yes, I don't know why, but well.
Well, I know why. Because you love dancing and you love balls.
Well, she went already through the case. Matthew could be there for and she was quite shocked that Pamela and him. And then William, he has a spark in his eye.
Well, he does. It's just not for you.
Exactly. And well, she wants a description from me how my future husband should be like, and she will look for him, which will not
Well,
happen.
maybe you should go. You should take her up on that offer.
She will not search for someone that I really want. That would be the one she would clearly ditch. See how she talks and thinks about Pamela. That would be exactly the kind of person I would like to have in my life.
I see.
But well,
So,
my
the
job.
kind of person that doesn't really move in her circles.
Correct. I will find someone in the.
I see why that could be a problem, because how is she ever going to meet them?
Exactly. It will be my task to find someone, or if I don't find someone, I'm fine with that as well. Also, then I talked to father because mother was, I think, quite upset about me not giving her the description of my future husband. And he asked how you are doing, good-heartedly as he is. And I told him you're back on your feet.
I am.
And then I told him, as you heard as well, that you are no longer the housemaid in this house. And he said,
He continued the conversation after you said it, so he seems to have taken it.
well, Dad is taking
Well-ish.
things like that quite relaxed. You know, he's not like my mother. But he also pointed out that I should tell this my mother in a more careful way.
Yes.
And the idea is that when they're back, I will give them a call. I will tell her, but I will invite them for dinner. If you would like to be there as well, you're invited. If you don't want to be there, I totally understand. But I want to basically show Mother that the house is still tidy, clean. I'm still alive, as well fed as I always are.
Well, of course, because the cooking will still be done by me.
True.
Teresa can go into the kitchen and she can lay the table, but I draw the line at her turning on the stove.
And maybe we can have the young one then around. We need to warn her about Mother, obviously, but she can at least help with serving the food.
Yes, and we should tell her that there will be an hour of scrutiny, excruciating pain inflicted by questions asked by Mrs. Baker Sr.
Yes, but well, let's see one step after the other.
But this is my cue. I'm now going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to prepare dinner.
Okay, let's do that.
Not us. You stay here.
I
And how about you just read something?
You go into the kitchen, I will collect our plates, cups, and bring them, wash them.
All right, but we can't tell your mother that. She will have a heart attack at the table.
Then it depends on how she behaves, if I want to tell her or not.
Alice, you are impossible.
Yes, and I'm very proud of that.
She gets up and she actually leaves all of the plates. She doesn't even look back. She goes straight into the kitchen, and you can, and as you collect the plates and everything, put it back on the tray, you can hear her, opening the ice box. And then she's obviously, it's one of the days when she hasn't made a plan yet. So she's basically talking herself through what's in the pantry, what's in the ice box, making a decision, and then acting on it. You've also never seen her open a cookbook since you had the artists over. So she really has a big kind of like internal library of the most different types of foods.
Yeah.
And then as you go in, she is already in mid-cook, and it's going to look like something where she needs to... It's not puff pastry, but close. So this looks like she's going to bake something. Oh, and there is beef. So she's probably going to make beef Wellington.
Whatever she enjoys. A pie would be fine as well. Alice will just, she knows she's not interfering with cooking. She will just do the washing the dishes, just drying them up, putting them back where they are. She will put the phone back where it belongs. She will probably call the cab company, already ordering up front a cab we need tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And then she will flop her butt back on the couch and will grab a book to read.
As you're grabbing the book, you can hear Dottie's voice. Maeve, I'm cooking. Go and bother Alice. You hear Paddy pause. And Maeve quite quickly runs towards you, jumps onto your lap. Or basically when you're lying down, she jumps onto your stomach.
I think when she comes close, I'll already pat my lap just to give her the invitation.
And she then starts complaining loudly about the fact that she's been thrown out of the kitchen.
I will pat her head and be like, I know it's mean. It smells really good. I know that. But I'm not allowed in the kitchen either. So we are both on this side.
The two of you commiserate for about 5 seconds the meanness that is Dottie Williams when she's cooking. And then she looks at the book that you're reading. So basically that means that she's sitting right in front of the book, so you can't see her. You only see this like head shaped. What are you reading?
Probably a book about Egypt, because I'm getting more and more curious about what Matthew and Pamela could visit and what they're experiencing, because I want to be the curious question asker when they are back from vacation.
So she basically then cuddles up onto your lap so that and she lies down so you can now easily read. But every so often she looks at you and then she looks at the book, almost like she's saying, I can't read, you'll have to tell me what it says.
Alice will not tell her because she is a cat. She will just read in between, probably give her some scratches between the ears, but she will just quietly read.
Okay, round about an hour later, Dottie steps outside into the salon. She says, okay, so now the beef is going to take a little over an hour from now on, and then it needs to rest for about 20 minutes. So dinner will be at 8:30.
That's a perfect timing.
She sits down, and then she basically takes out her knitting, and she knits. And she's knitting again baby clothes, because obviously she has had a niece she has a niece that's about, at this stage, 4 months old, just born, coming up to the New Year's, and so she's basically knitting something for that child. And and then she basically she doesn't really talk much when she knits. She's kind of like, self-absorbed. And you are reading, so unless you want to do anything...
No, Alice will just read. I think both of them are quite used to just sitting there and doing their own things.
So then, as the time for the dinner approaches, Dottie gets up, puts away the knitting, she goes back into the kitchen, does her thing. Do you want to lay the table, or do you leave it all to her? Okay, so then you join her. You lay the table, then the two of you have dinner. Beef Wellington, and then she says that there's enough left for tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be, since we're going to go to the registrar's office anyway, so this is going to be really quick. And we can then, I will just pack us a lunch, and then we can have this tomorrow evening. And it'll only take me 20 minutes or so to heat it up. Yep. I will only make the vegetables fresh, and of course cook the potatoes freshly. And then basically the two of you finish dinner, you clean up the place, and then she sits down and do you actually have the fire on in the evenings?
If it's cool enough, yes. And I could imagine during this time it's still cold, so yes, we definitely have the fireplace on in the salon.
Yeah. And Dottie just basically sits down and she knits some, but then the rest of the evening she actually just looks into the fire and plays a little bit with Maeve. And she doesn't really do much, but she also doesn't seem upset or anything. She just seems, well, it's a normal evening.
Yeah.
You know, there is nothing happening. Nobody comes to the house. There are no phone calls. So what do you do? Do you read?
Yeah, Alice would be
mhm.
just reading and maybe in parallel just having some music running on the... Oh god, my English is completely failing. Schallplattenspieler.
Well, turntable or record
Turntable.
player.
Record player would be the word I'm looking for, because I'm not sure. Well, gramophones. Oh, I think they already were on record players during that time. Quite sure.
Yeah.
Just,
I'm wondering, did they still have the handle
I
that they
think
needed to?
yes.
Yeah.
And
So
just something quietly, not too offensive, not too loud, just a nice, easy-going tune in the background. And that would be the evening.
So round about 11 o'clock at her usual time, Dottie says, well, I'm going to turn in now. So tomorrow we don't have to get up early because we're not supposed to be there until 10:30. So you can sleep in.
But breakfast.
Well, yeah, but you can sleep in until 7. She smiles at you.
Then I will see you tomorrow morning. I will just read up this chapter and then I'll go to bed as well.
And she goes upstairs, placing Maeve on the floor because Maeve has been sitting with her, and then Maeve basically looks after her, and then she jumps on your sofa as well and lies down next to you and just curls up and goes to sleep.
I will read up the chapter. I will close the book. I will make sure the fire is not burning anymore, and we'll go through the usual thing of seeing if everything is locked properly.
So on your patrols, you are always now accompanied by Maeve.
I'm fine with that. I would also double check if the little stinky bags that were placed are still there, just to be safe and sound. And then I will go upstairs to my room, leave the bedroom door open a bit in case Maeve want to join me, not upstairs. It's her choice.
Yeah, Maeve this time around actually leaves you. She goes upstairs to the top floor, and then you go to bed.
I do. Probably staring into the black void of my bedroom for a while. Unsure if I really want to sleep, but I'm sure enough after not sleeping last night she would just give in.
Well, you are tired, but if you want to, you can stay awake.
No.
You would have to make a con roll, but...
But she's also thinking tomorrow she needs a fresh mind. If we go through all the papers and so on, it's not helpful to be really tired. Also, if you want to visit Maman Lemon, we also need a fresh mind for her because she's a sneaky old lady. And she will just give in to be realistic and trying to get some sleep in hopes she is not getting any visitors.
You go to sleep.
Yeah.
A question. You are very much into art. Alice is very much into art.
Yes.
So
the house is covered in art pieces. Yeah. Not really by her, but through all different kind of artists. Probably one of William's art pieces as well.
Yeah, he gave you 2. So basically, but you would also know about, classical art, the big pieces, the ones that everybody knows, like the Mona Lisa and so on. That doesn't mean that you necessarily find them very interesting or attractive.
But I know about them.
You dream. You are in an art gallery. You have no idea where you are. And it's a very long corridor, and there are it's one of those longish rooms, and there are paintings on both sides, and in front of the paintings there are little benches that people can sit on to contemplate on the pictures. Do you look at the pictures?
Yes.
Okay, so you see the first picture, and it's a picture that is very famous, and you've seen it in art books. I believe it's in Italy. you haven't really seen it in the flesh, as it were. And it is a picture of the Mother of Christ, Mater Dolorosa. So it's the picture. It's a very famous one. I forget the artist, but so you've got the three crosses in the background. She's sitting in front of the cross. She has the dead body in her lap. It's this where she's constantly crying. He's got the crown of thorns, and there is blood streaming down his face. And then you have the two people who are still there with her. I think Joseph of Arimathea is one of them, and the other one is some woman. It could be Mary of Magdalene.
I think it's Mary of Magdalene, because I think I know which one you mean. Although there are a lot of
there are a lot of
depictions
of this particular scene, but it is the one that is really famous. And you have and basically you see the scene, and then you notice that she's looking at you.
I will look to the picture on the other side.
It's the same painting.
I will turn around. Is there a door behind me?
Yeah.
I will try to open it.
You open the door.
What is behind the door?
Another part of the gallery.
Same picture on the wall?
The same picture on the wall.
She will just sit down cross-legged in the doorway and will just close her eyes and just loudly say, "I just want to go home and wake up, please."
You wake up. You look. Do you open your eyes?
Yes.
Okay. So you look into the darkness,
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the shapes that you're familiar with. It looks like you're in your bedroom.
I will still.
And you can feel you are lying on your bed.
I will, on a reflex, turn on the nightlight.
You turn on the nightlight. The room becomes as bright as it would normally become when you turn on the nightlight, and there is nothing there. There's nothing changed. Everything is as you remember it.
I will look at the watch.
2:15.
I will throw over my morning gown and will go downstairs in the kitchen.
Okay.
And
you're gonna have a drink.
I will make myself a hot chocolate.
Okay, you make yourself a hot chocolate. Very good choice.
Still tempted to add a bit of whiskey, but I'm going with a hot chocolate. And we'll just sit in the kitchen, probably picking up the book that I read the evening before about Egypt, and we'll just sit there sipping on the hot chocolate and reading a bit to get my mind a bit distracted.
Make a luck roll.
Really?
Please do.
No.
No? Oh,
Not even close. It's quite easily done, even with a
Not
49. I'm far away from any kind of luck.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Okay. So you read your book. How long are you going to read for?
Until the sun is rising.
Okay, then please make a con check.
Probably it's 2 cups, and probably it's then turning into coffee, I would guess, because I rolled a 4.
Oh, wow.
I am trained in this by now. I know how to deal with this, so strong coffee is then the choice she's going for.
Okay, the sun comes up.
She will go upstairs, she will make herself fresh, get clothed, and she will be in the kitchen probably around 6.
Oh, wow, okay.
Preparing a small breakfast.
For yourself only? Or for both of you?
Well, it's too early. Well, Dottie usually gets up quite early.
Yeah, but she said today you're allowed to sleep in until 7.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
it's
mean
1 hour
that
ahead of time.
she is sleeping in.
Having said this, since you took over breakfast, she really doesn't come down. It may be that she's awake, but she doesn't roam the house.
I will probably make first a coffee for myself and just sit there, probably bringing in the milk that is standing outside by now.
Yes,
And
it is.
starting breakfast, I think around 6:30, preparing everything. That at least by 7, everything is there.
7 on the dot, Dottie arrives and she says, "Oh, good morning. How are you?"
Tired, but well, I got at least 2 hours of sleep.
What happened this time?
Well, this time I had a weird dream.
And what did you dream? Do you remember?
Well, I was in, not sure, an art gallery, or at least a long corridor with a lot of paintings that were all the same and staring at me.
What was in the painting?
Christ's death scene.
Christ's death scene.
His mother looked at me, so, well, blankly more staring at me.
His mother looked at you.
Yes.
You really have a Mary complex, don't you?
I'm not sure.
Well, she isn't your enemy.
Well, she kind of feels like it, to be honest.
Do you think she sent you the dream, or do you think you made it up in your head?
Honestly, I haven't seen that painting in ages. I have no idea why on earth I would dream such a creepy thing.
She knows which painting you mean, and she said, I never felt it was creepy. I was always quite comforted by it.
Well, the scene is not a nice scene, but it's a quite beautiful painting, to be honest. I never was. I'm not scared of a painting, but I don't think my brain came up with this kind of weird dream.
She's trying to tell you something then. That's what you think.
I'm not sure. Maybe she just wants. She has fun in scaring people.
I'm surprised. I never thought that I would ever see something that scares you like this, and that isn't even there.
Well, I don't really.
I mean, you took on a Wendigo.
But that is something you can touch and try to fight. Something creeping up in your dreams or showing up in the middle of sleep in your bedroom is a different number, especially if it just vanishes. The Wendigo at least did not vanish because it's not a thing like that.
Well, she did say she found us interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like her game toy now, which is not fun. But honestly, it also shows me that the bags are not working.
Well, she hasn't been here.
But she's still having access to me.
She is, as Maman Lavaux and Sinead said, it's all in the mind.
Well, we are visiting Maman Lavaux anyhow. Maybe she has any other things that might help to keep that thing out of my head.
But if I remember correctly, you said you didn't want it to enter her house or your bedroom or any space in your house. She hasn't entered, as far as we know.
Yeah,
She's
I should
here.
I should phrase my requirements better next time.
Yeah, it seems like when you're dealing with demons, you have to be really precise.
I think when I talk to Maman Lavaux, I have to be really precise. Because I'm quite sure for the next thing, I will have to pay again.
You didn't pay this time.
Well, for the things that she put around, I'm quite sure we paid. That was a paid job, wasn't it?
You never gave her anything. She also never asked for anything. She wanted 2 years of your life for the shadow.
But for the other thing, I'm quite sure we agreed on a price.
Nope.
Okay. Then then Alice would have been at Maman's place directly afterwards, and she would have given money. She wouldn't have taken that for free.
Okay, in that case, if this is what you wanted, then she would have asked you to make a donation
Yeah, that would have
on
been
her
then the
behalf.
case.
Yeah.
Because
No, that's fine. If this is how you would have done it, then she would have
yeah,
asked you to
Alice
make a
wouldn't
donation.
have gotten such a job. She wouldn't have gotten that for free. She wouldn't have accepted that. She would have any kind of payment. A donation would be fine.
Okay, so she would probably have asked you to donate to the Westchester Hospital,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, then that
Okay.
would have been where the money
Okay.
went.
So you have breakfast.
Yep.
You hear the as the Saturday paper is delivered.
Yep.
And then the two of you, basically, you have already ordered the cab, and then the two of you leave. You go to Sergeant Updike's house. You ring the bell.
Yes, and
The
Alice
door opens.
is looking a nice needle suit with a nice coat, a scarf, and a hat.
Okay, so let's see.
And her walking cane.
59. I'll give you this. Mrs. Updike is married to a career police officer.
Mm-hmm.
She has seen lots of things.
Good.
So she just basically looks at you. She gives you a very disapproving look. One that is almost Patricia Baker level, but not quite. And then she says, "You must be Miss Baker. My husband has not been wrong. Would you care to step inside?"
Well, thank you. And this is my partner, Miss Williams.
Dottie looks a lot more to her liking, and she warms immediately, and she smiles at her, and Dottie smiles back, and she lets the two of you in, and she leads you to the parlor. And then she says, "My husband will be with you presently," and she walks away. And then Sergeant Updike comes back. He does the bow at the waist, kiss your hand thing. He doesn't even flinch anymore when he sees your outfit.
He's used to much worse.
Yeah. And then he just hands you a little letter, and basically saying, "Well, hand this in at the I've rung ahead. They know that you're coming."
Okay. Thank you
Well,
very much.
have a good hunt.
Well, have a nice rest of the weekend. The question is, do you want an answer on what we find during the weekend, or is it enough if we just call you on Monday when you're back?
I think unless it's something really urgent that you require my help, Monday will be fine.
Then I will call on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.
He takes you to the front door.
Thank you so much. This will help.
No problem. And he lets you out, and Dottie and you leave. You get. Did you ask the cab?
Yeah, we asked to wait.
So the cab takes you to the registrar's office, and you go there.
And we would ask the cab again to wait.
This would take a while, though. I mean, it's fine. I'm just telling you this. We're talking about several hours.
The thing is,
Dottie has a packed lunch.
Then we would ask if the cab driver could show up again at the same place in
3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
Yes, of course, miss. And then you pay him, and then he comes back later. That's the agreement that you have.
Yeah.
And then you go to the door. And the door is actually a big door, and then there's a smaller door inside it, and that has like a little window, and there's a bell.
Looking at Dottie, and then ringing the bell.
You ring the bell, and about 5 minutes later, the little you see a head and a face through the window. It's a man, and he says, and he squints at you, and he says, "Miss Baker?"
Yes, I have a letter from Sergeant Updike for you.
Yes, he did say someone was coming. He says, "One moment," and you hear somebody putting a key in the lock, and then the lock turning, and then the door opening, and he lets you in. And he looks like the normal bookkeeper, like the ones that have like these sleeve covers, so that when they write, they don't get the ink on their white and pristinely starched shirt. And he says, "You want to see the marriage records?"
Yes.
"Well, if you will follow me."
It would be the
madam.
ones between 1898 and probably 1902.
All right. And are you? I mean, if you're looking at all of New York, this is going to take you a long time.
The Bronx would be probably
Okay,
the first place to
that's
watch.
all right. So we're going to go to the section that is the Bronx, and then I'm going to give you the relevant years.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So you go there.
Yeah.
He says, now we don't have a reading area in every aisle, so this is where you would be doing the reading, and I will just be bringing you the stuff.
Thank you so much for your help.
And also, there is, and he looks over, so they have one of those water well thingies, and he says that is perfectly drinkable.
Thank you.
And then he goes away. And I mean, this is like, it's a very, well, as far as buildings in New York are old, and it's like one of those really tall rooms, high ceilings. It's like a library, several meters high, maybe easily 8 meters high, and there is just records everywhere. So these old ledgers, because obviously in the old days they would all have done it written by hand. And then he comes back at length with 4 ledgers, and he says, so that is 1898 and 1899. I'm gonna get, and these are huge. They're actually these really weird sized ones. When you open them, they take up
the whole table, more or less.
Yeah, the whole table. Yeah. And then he says, okay, there is 5 more. And you can see that they are really heavy, but they're also very dusty. So basically, when he puts them down, it's almost like a little bit of dust coming up. And then Dottie says, 1 each.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Split it up. So we both
library use roll.
We both have a notebook and are writing down everything that we can find, possibly. Oh God.
Okay.
Nope.
What? No.
Big nope. I rolled a 96.
She misses hers as well. Oh my God. She also misses hers. Okay.
Tired.
So you don't see anything.
No.
Then the next 5 come in. So he basically carried over the next 5, and they're just basically then being placed there. And then another library roll use, please. Library use roll. 13. That's a.
What the hell? No. An 89. It's getting better. If we roll another 10 or 20 rolls, maybe I will get there.
She does get through this one really quickly, and she says, well, there's nothing in this one.
What did I say? 89, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have.
Don't spend luck. Don't spend luck.
Okay.
It's
Are
not
you
worth
sure?
it. Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
So she just says, well, there are several. I mean, these are just not them. I mean, this is like, these are way too young. They had several marriages. I mean, this is not just marriages. This is deaths, births, marriages. And she says, but they were all like in their early 20s. So.
But if it's deaths as well, Alice would go back to the 1898 because the 2 deaths, the couple, so the name should be somewhere in there.
That is really easily found because obviously they are ordered by date.
Yeah.
And you come to this date when 26 names appear. All accidental death, fire. And you can tell that they are all between 5 years old and 16.
So no adult.
Well, this is so basically you know where you're looking at. So you find it easily, and then of course you do come to a couple. There, he is 67, she is 60, and his name is Aristide Lassalle.
Aristide Lassalle.
And Vivian Lassalle.
Okay, at least we have the names of the couple.
Yeah, and they were both born in Louisiana.
there's so many coming to New York.
And of course, pre-war.
Well, the main thing, it might be, Dottie, that they picked a couple that was already married.
Yeah, we said that. Yeah.
That might be an option, because marrying in the 30s is quite late, to be honest. So usually the people get married more in their early 20s or even earlier.
She looks at her book. She's like, like your parents.
And I think, well, there's not much that we can do. There's nothing in those books that will help us.
You have one more book.
Also, what Alice would do, nevertheless, we don't have to put the names, but she would write down every name of every child that died in the fire.
Yeah. It's a tragedy. Like 26, and interestingly enough, you were right, there is one person who is 21. And probably they're not an orphan, so
at least there was an adult.
Yeah, there was an adult. So yeah, barely of age, but of age. So
and for another library use, I rolled a 99. I'm not allowed to find anything today.
No. On a 100, it means you're actually looking at it top down, and you're kind of like upside down, and you're kind of like, I have no idea.
No,
is this Chinese?
On 100, I have a migraine and can't read at all, probably.
Exactly,
But I'm already getting a headache. And
she says, yeah, that's because you haven't eaten, because she has been eating her sandwiches, so she forces you to keep sitting, and she gives you 2 sandwiches. You eat them.
I will eat one. I think I need to drink some water.
She goes up and to the water well, and she comes back with water. And of course, there was a flask with tea.
I didn't even drink alcohol last night. I should have, maybe. Then I would know why I'm having a headache. But well.
Alice.
I only drank hot chocolate and then moved on to coffee. I stayed away
maybe you should have stayed in bed, and you should have kept sleeping instead of staying up all night again.
To end up again in this weird corridor with pictures creepily staring at me? Thank you.
I'm honestly so surprised that this creeps you out so much.
Things that I cannot control creep me out.
It's a dream.
I'm so close to wishing that you will have the dreams, and then we will talk again.
Well, maybe I will.
I hope not. Because then I will walk back into that freaking church of yours and will probably yell at the statue. Oh no, I have a ritual how to call her up. We will go out in the garden and we'll invite her for a chit-chat.
Alice, no. You will not do that.
If she shows up in your dreams, I'm kind of tempted to. She's done enough.
I'm not afraid of her.
Well, sadly you should be, and it's weird enough for me saying that, because usually I'm not afraid of anything.
She said she wasn't your enemy.
But well, she planted a seed, thank you kindly. She is playing her own game, in her own rules, not caring for a single second about any human. She's just caring about her own fun. Obviously.
I think that maybe she can't care.
Then she's not a good goddess. Then she's a demon, because demons don't care about anyone else as themselves.
Have you ever thought about taking lectures in divinity?
No.
You would make a very good theologian.
I highly doubt that, because I would, due to everything that science is giving, question a lot of things that are standing in the Bible. I would be thrown out within a day.
Oh, you might make a huge difference. Come on.
Okay, we will pack up the book. We will say our thank yous to the...
Oh, Miss, did you find what you were looking for? Was it helpful?
It was helpful. Thank you very much.
I'm glad. Just leave the books. I will put them back. Don't worry about it. They are very heavy.
Thank you.
They are.
Yeah, they are. Thank you so much. And well, should I hope for you for a calm weekend, or maybe a few more visitors to keep you entertained?
Well, to be quite honest, I prefer a calm weekend, because if people come, then it's usually a terrible... For example, if there's a train wreck.
That is horrible.
Indeed. So I prefer a calm weekend.
Then
I mean, it's not boring if you are me and he points at his desk and you see that he plays chess. He's playing chess against himself.
Then have a calm weekend and good luck with that. And we will then step outside.
He looks at you and he says, the good thing about this is I always win.
That is true. That is a wise decision to do.
Okay. And you go back to the cab. Well, the cab is actually already waiting outside, because you did spend almost 4 hours there, so he has been waiting. So, but that's fine. And then Dottie looks at you and says, "Did you ever check if your horse came in?"
If what?
The race was yesterday. The horse. You bet on Ice Queen. Miss Alice, what kind of a gambler are you?
A busy gambler, busy with other things.
She says to the cab driver, "Can you stop at a newsagent's for us, please?" And he says, "Yes, miss." And she goes inside. She comes back with the Gambler's Weekly. Oh, Horses Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "So it was the 3:55 yesterday." And she looks at it and she says, "Well, congratulations.
Ice
Came
Queen.
in first.
Nice, nice, nice.
How much did you bet?"
What did it say? $5, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're getting 30 back.
That's at least something. 40% for Louis, 60 for me.
Well, there you have it.
Then, good sir, could you drive us? And she will give the address, basically, of the
Le Petit
church.
Jésus? Oh, the church. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first the church, because
Okay, so
she
you go
wants to visit the place where the orphanage was after the
Okay.
father pointed out where it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you go to the orphanage, or where it was.
Where it was. The cab driver will get again money to wait for us.
Yeah.
It will just take a few minutes.
So now this is a nondescript. It's not derelict, but it's also not nice.
Mm-hmm.
Block of flats. So, and you basically see that people are coming in and out. They're all black, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are quite old. Some of them are in their 40s, but there is no one that looks young.
Okay.
Your age or younger. Do you go inside, or what do you do?
I think Alice would stand outside and look for a while who's going in and out, just to get a feeling of what kind of people are there.
Well, I mean, there are some. There are a couple of women actually who come out, and they, as you hear them talk, they are actually talking about going to the church tonight to decorate, because tomorrow is the Sunday before the Sunday that is Easter.
All of those women are probably not the ones, because I highly doubt they will go into church.
They also don't have husbands, or it doesn't look like it. So they're basically like, it's this, the volunteers that bring the flowers, and then, well, they don't bring them, but they decorate the altar and everything. Yeah.
I don't think we will learn much here, because I don't have the spidery things like Shudate has. I'm sorry.
What's your luck again? Is it 18?
It's 17.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
I would say let's go to Maman Laval, right?
Do you walk or do you take the cab?
We will take the cab, and the cabby
Okay.
will get a good butt of money to also wait outside again. So
okay.
we have him basically the whole day, and he will
Mhm.
get properly paid for that.
So you drive,
Mm-hmm.
and you suddenly experience pain beyond pain. It's like somebody cracked open your skull,
Okay.
and you see for a very split second, you have the sensation of being suspended, and something coming towards your head and impacting on your forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all vanishes. The pain goes away immediately, just like it came out of the blue. It goes away again. It's not like a migraine that's kind of slowly wearing off. It's just gone. And Dottie says, stop the car.
I'm fine. Just go
No,
on.
no, you're not. And she takes out her handkerchief and she places it on your forehead and she draws it back and shows it to you. You're bleeding from a broken skin up here. What was that?
Please just move on. We need to get to Maman Laval.
No,
Yes.
no, we need to get you to a hospital.
Don't be silly. Let's go to Maman Laval. The hospital will not help.
I'm not being silly. So she keeps dabbing at your face because it is bleeding.
I will probably just grab the handkerchief and will just press it on my head on my own. I have no idea what hit me, but it was first a massive headache, then it felt like something was flying towards me, and then it stopped.
What? There was nothing flying towards you. I was sitting next to you. There is nothing here.
I know. Let's go to Maman Laval. Afterwards, we can go to the hospital if you think I need patching.
The cab driver has seen worse. He's fine. 32 on his sanity, so yeah, he's fine. So you drive to Maman Laval's, Le Petit Jésus. He lets you out. You knock. Well, this time Dottie is taking charge. She walks very quickly to the door. She knocks on it very decisively. And then when there isn't a kind of like within 5 seconds,
I will put my hand on Dottie's shoulder. Give her time. She's not the quickest.
Just for once.
Breathe in and out.
I'm breathing, but you are bleeding. So please, just this once. Shh. And the door is not open, but you can see Maxine's face through the window. And Dottie says, "Open now. It's an emergency." And Maxine is like, and she opens the door, and Dottie pushes the door inwards and flattens Maxine against the wall and grabs you by the hand and drags you after herself.
I will probably try to wring myself loose off her grip.
Then try.
I will try. What do I have to roll?
Roll strength. It's an opposed roll.
God. Well, I rolled a 17.
That looks very good. She rolled a 75, which is a fail. Unless you have failed too, which I doubt at strength 17.
No, with a 17, it's a hard success.
Yeah, so you basically...
I will still follow, but on my own careful term. I will close the door. I will see if Maxine is fine. I'm really sorry. She's freaking out a bit. And then I will put the handkerchief back on my forehead.
She basically looks at you and then she tries to overtake Dottie and fails because Dottie has now entered and Dottie's already calling out.
In this room, is there somewhere a mirror?
Is there a mirror? 55. There is.
Alice will step forward to the mirror and she would just put away the handkerchief. She wants to just have a look. If it just
You
looks
have a
like
cut.
a cut, that is not like my head is split in two and it's a
No,
cut.
it's like the boxes when
Yeah.
they get like these just up here.
Yeah. So she will just keep the handkerchief on it, but is at least now relaxed that she's quite sure, since she
You can
doesn't
hear
have a
Dottie's
headache.
voice, Madame Lavaux, Madame, and Maxine is like, this is terrible.
Dottie, I want to come back here and not be kicked out forever.
I don't care what you want.
I'm tempted to ask you to wait outside. Just
She
come.
comes back around one of the shelves and
I am really sorry, Maxine. Would you mind to please ask if Maman has some minutes time to talk to us, please? I'm really sorry.
.06. Dottie keeps her cool towards Maxine. She doesn't towards you. I will not wait outside. You can't tell me what to do. I'm sorry.
Then please at least behave decently. Let's just wait. I'm not dying. It's just a cut. You want to have a look?
I'm
It's
sorry.
just a
Who
cut.
was the person who was so upset about a dream, but then when something invisible hits you and splits open your brow, you just kind of go, well, it's fine, nothing to see here, just move swiftly along. What? Are you crazy? This is a lot worse than dreaming.
It is, but panicking and being aggressive against other people that actually need help is not helping.
You don't get to make that decision for me, how I behave.
The problem is your behavior is also catching up on mine. I want to be able to go back here if we need support from them. I have my temper, but I know when I have to calm it. That will be the learning for you, working as a PI. I would love to have you by my side, and yes, I am worried, and yes, I would like to talk peace and quiet to Maman. If you just rush and screaming, Maxine will kick you out and you will never set foot in this building again. She's protective of her grandmother or aunt. I'm still not sure. What was it, grand?
She did call her niece, but
okay,
you know,
then it would be
you
aunt.
never know what the actual connection is, so it's just clear it's not the daughter.
There are rules here that you have to follow. Please.
She looks at you and raises an eyebrow and she says, as you wish. She turns around and leaves.
As I said, I would love to have you by my side,
She's
dear.
out the door.
Children. Youngsters.
She's not that young. And then at length, Maxine comes. You hear the footsteps, the rather firm ones and the less firm ones that you heard before. And then Maxine says, if you would care to join us.
Thank you.
And basically, Madame Lavaux has already sat down in this corner where, you know, the sofas are, and there is tea as well. And she says, well, my child, so tell me all about it. What happened?
Well, your... How do we want to call it? It's not spells.
Charms or wards in my case.
Your wards kind of help that she's not showing up visibly in our house, but she's still showing up here every night. And today I had the nice thing of just around the corner having a massive headache and feeling that something was flying at me, and this she will just put away. It should probably slowly stop bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
This happened, and obviously nothing physically was thrown at me, which kind of is the reason why my partner went a bit hectic. Sorry again, Maxine, for the drama. Is there a way to get her out of my head as well? Because I would really like to sleep in peace and quiet, at least for one night.
Well, it depends. What is she trying to tell you?
I am not sure. That she's annoying as hell and has fun in torturing me, I would guess.
What were your dreams like? What did you dream?
Well, first of all, she told me she's not my enemy, but she tried to tell me what to do. Then she showed up in a painting staring at me as Mother of Jesus that died just in front of her.
She just nods.
Every hint from my side that she just should stay away from us, she blankly ignores, because she already told me she's kind of finding us interesting. I don't want to be interesting.
Well, I'm not sure if I can take your being interesting away from you. I don't know really how to do this. I can give you a sleeping draft.
That is nothing that will really do the trick, but thank you for the offer. Also, I'm not sure if she would be the one throwing things at me. At least so far she hasn't.
Well, about that, give me your hand.
Before I do, just as background, we are still trying to find out why people are dying around here of hepatitis. And, well, we came over a story like 30 years ago of the orphanage that burned down.
Oh, yes, I remember. It was a tragedy.
The couple that run the orphanage.
Yes, the LaSalles.
We are kind of tempted that they were the vessels and the orphanage was how they had the meanings to move on.
Do you now?
So we suspect they are still around in new form.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual reason why we were on the way here, to be honest, was if you know the community well, and I know I don't have to run around in the community asking questions, I'm an outsider. But if you maybe know an elderly couple that is behaving maybe a bit weird and distant, probably not using your services because they don't need to.
She looks at you and she says, "That is very astute of you."
Well, to be honest, I want to try to save.
Because the LaSalles didn't use my services.
Well, after all, I understood they don't need them because they have their own things that they don't
Quite.
want your help with. So...
Well, isn't it funny? Everybody has a book of people that are their customers. I have a book of people that aren't.
Well, that shows that a lot of people are trusting in you.
Well, I never looked at it from this angle. That's a very, very... Well, having said this, if it is the orphanage that burned down, there was no cases of hepatitis, so nobody would have thought that Droit de Lens was at work. But of course, it makes perfect sense. Instead of just killing people slowly, you just do it in one go, and then you just destroy all your traces.
And a couple needs the double amount, so
24.
there are a lot of deaths coming if we don't stop them.
So now give me your hand, child.
She will hold out the hand.
Mm-hmm. And you see the woman sitting there, the old lady, and she closes her eyes, and then you hear a sharp intake of breath. And you see out of nowhere a scar. You see out of nowhere a wound forming on her forehead, just where it is in your case. Like the skin breaks and blood starts pouring, and she and Maxine is basically starting to fuss. She said, "It's fine, Maxine." Well, I would say that this is nothing to do with your other problem.
So it's linked to the orphanage and the couple.
Possibly. What you just experienced and what I just experienced is a memory from the past, a very vivid memory.
So far, memory never hurt physically. Interesting.
Some memories stem from things that happen to people, things that people experience, which are so powerful, quite often deadly, that they form a physical manifestation in this world if one is just perceptive enough. You are just perceptive enough.
Not sure if that's a good thing, but well.
Well, if you explore that memory, you might learn something more.
How do I explore that? It just came in a flash and left.
Do you know where it came?
On the way here, shortly after we left the orphanage, or the ex-orphanage grounds.
Then maybe you should take the same way back. Having said this, I don't know how dangerous this memory is. Or I help you with it. I'll tell you how to do it, and you can experience the memory in full.
It would be interesting to know also how to maybe be able to shut it off if it's something I don't want to endure, if it's more physical.
I can help you with that. And she gets up and she goes to the chicken coop. She takes a chicken. She takes it to a butcher's block, really. Takes off its head and basically takes the blood. Again, it's like this eerie feeling, somebody who has no sight doing all of these things with a precision that is incredible. She catches the blood in a mortar, and then she takes out a pestle and she gets and she asks Maxine for some ingredients. She makes a powder out of some ingredients. She mixes them in with the blood. And she says, and she fills it into a vial, and she says, "Take this if you're willing." And
Take, mean drink.
no, oh my God, no. Take this with you. That's
Okay.
what I meant. Don't even think about drinking.
Thank you.
No. What you do is you sit down at night and you use this to draw a circle around yourself. Now, this will ward off any physical impact. You will experience the whole memory, but it will not harm you physically. However, having said this, I can tell you already that the memory will be terribly unpleasant.
Well, To be honest, I've seen quite a few horrible things. Do I need to do it close to where I experienced it?
No, but I would say pick the night to Easter Sunday. Because he is the resurrection and the life.
Okay. Thank you. I will give it a go.
May God bless you. And where's your friend?
Either angry outside or angry on the way home. We have quite different ways to deal with things like this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm really sorry how she stormed in here. That's not the way to behave. She was just very worried and panicked.
Don't apologize.
Honestly, she should come in here and apologize, but that's her decision to do or not. About the couple, if you have any ideas or names,
I will think about it.
that would be lovely. Your niece has my contact data and you know where to find me? Or should I
Yes.
just come by next time we're in the area?
No.
Okay.
We do have a phone.
Thank you very much. And again, the very weird question on payment for your service.
Come back to me on Easter Monday and let me know how it went.
I will do that.
Good.
Thank you so
and
much.
try to remember as much as you can. It may come in handy.
I will try my best. Usually my memory is not the worst.
And about that sleeping draft, think about it. And she hands you a little bottle. It'll just make you go to sleep. It won't do anything else, but it will be a sound sleep.
I will hand it back to her. I have sleeping pills at home, so if I want to use any kind of help, I can do that. Thank you.
All right.
But
À bientôt.
I will also say goodbye to Maxine, even though she's probably still not amused, but I will be very polite and say thank you.
Okay, so do you leave?
I will leave.
You step outside.
I step outside and I'm quite honest, expecting that the cab is not there anymore.
The cab is there.
The question is Dottie still there?
No.
One day I will murder her.
Do you say that out loud?
Probably in a low voice, but yes. And I will step forward to the cab driver.
He has already seen that you're outside, and he says, I'm terribly sorry, madam, but she just walked away. I tried to stop her, but she just left.
Do you know in which direction?
Yeah, and he points towards the church.
Let's just go on a ride. We've taken your time all day anyhow, and we will pay, or I will pay you. Let's go towards the church and see if she is around there.
He drives towards the church. The church is a good ways away because it's in the middle of the triangle, and after about, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, you can see her walking down the pavement.
I will have the cab driver drive by her side in slowest pace he could do, and I will just open the window, and I will just. Do you want to go to church, or should we go home? Or should I call you another cab?
She ignores you completely. But you can tell that she's heard every single word.
I will ask cab driver to just stop.
Okay, he stops.
I will give him some payment for the rest of the day that he's covered. I will ask him to drive towards the church and wait there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will probably just walk by Dottie's side. The cab will wait for you at the church, and I will meet you back home. And she will cross the street, and she will take the walk, which is dangerous, I know, towards the black cat.
Okay. You arrive at the Black Cat at length. Mm-hmm.
She will step inside, but,
Yeah.
well, it should be afternoon.
I'd say it's, well, you went to the registrar's office. You did spend some time there, so it was probably 3 o'clock, maybe. I would say it's around 6 at this stage, and it's already
Okay.
dark.
Then she would step inside, still upstairs, if it's open.
Yeah.
And she would have a look around if she can see Louis.
Yes, you already saw his car outside.
Okay.
Mhm.
She will step inside. She would probably sit at the bar first and will...
Madam, and there's a different barkeeper this time round.
A whiskey and a piece of ice separately, please.
He gives you a whiskey, and then he hands you a little, an empty whiskey glass with just ice in it.
She will use her handkerchief, put the ice cube in there, and will put it on her forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And will drink the whiskey, and will look around and will try to catch Louis. If he's looking around, or if he just like that, he is recognizing her.
Yeah. He waves at you.
And she would motion again that if basically...
He comes towards you again with a Coke in his hand.
I wanted to ask you if I can invite you for a Coke.
I'll have another one, yes, of course.
And then the question if afterwards you would have time to make another ride to Manhattan.
Of course, madam.
Thank you. And button another Coke and another whiskey, please.
He gives you another whiskey. He has another Coke. So, then the two of you ride home?
Yeah.
Okay. You arrive home.
Mm-hmm.
You pay Louis.
Yeah.
Normally I would ask you for a luck roll, but with your luck, do it anyway.
A luck roll. I will have to climb through the back door. Well, no, it's a 58.
Okay. So you go inside.
Mm-hmm.
The house is completely dark.
Alice will go into the kitchen and will set up a kettle for tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then she will, while it's cooking, she will go into the bathroom and look for a plaster just to stick on her forehead.
Yeah, you will find one, yes. So there's a first aid kit that
she'll
Dottie
make sure
keeps
it's
stocked.
cleaned up properly, and she will patch it as best as she can, and then she will go back into the kitchen and make herself a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then she will wait in the kitchen.
Okay, you wait. How long?
Until Dottie comes back home. If it means until next morning or next day, she will sit in this chair only to take a bathroom break if needed.
Okay. Time passes. Maeve comes in.
I will feed Maeve when she shows up.
Mm-hmm. Can you do me a favor and do a POW check, please?
Oh dear. Let me just write it down. POW. I don't have that much in POW.
Well, it's still higher than your luck.
Yeah, well, everything is higher than my luck, and that
That is
is
true.
a success.
Okay. Okay, so Maeve, what is your state of mind actually with regard to Dottie?
She's worried and angry at the same time. It's a weird thing
Mhm.
that probably a lot of parents have regarding their children when they are not showing up, being angry and worried at the same time. It's, I think, kind of exactly that.
Okay. Maeve picks up on this.
Hmm.
And she basically sits in front of you and keeps meowing at you. Which can be very annoying, and they can keep this up for a very long time if they mean to.
Well, I can only offer some food and scratches between the ears, and the rest she will just shrug and look at Maeve. I have no idea where she is. I just hope she's in one piece.
Maeve goes into the salon and she sits on the windowsill and looks outside.
Alice is tempted to do almost the same, but she will stay in the kitchen. She will make another cup of coffee. Not a cup of coffee, cup of tea.
Mhm.
Probably
So,
by now making herself at least a piece of bread, like a easy, quick sandwich.
hours pass. The clock approaches midnight. Do you stay up?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably now
Around.
turning to coffee with alcohol.
Okay. How much alcohol?
Not much, just a tiny
Okay.
bit with every
Mhm.
cup. So by early
Around.
morning, she will be probably slightly drunk.
Okay, we don't go to early morning. It's 2:00 roundabout in the morning, and you hear a key turning in the lock.
Hmm.
The door opens.
Hmm.
Maeve has already gotten off the windowsill and is sitting in the hall. You hear the door close, you hear the door being locked, and you hear footsteps, and they go upstairs.
Then Alice will finish her cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
She will make sure everything is properly locked. We'll turn off the light because she assumes May followed Dottie, probably.
Yeah.
And then she will go to her own bedroom with a book.
Mm-hmm.
And she will probably not try to sleep anyhow.
Oh my god, you're really getting sleep deprived at this stage.
The thing is, she's getting quite paranoid about things getting to her dreams. So I'm quite sure she will fight falling asleep. I'm not sure if she will manage, but she will try.
Make a con roll, but this time with disadvantage.
Yeah,
because
after
you
all
have
that,
been, and you also
after
have,
all that happened,
and you have a little head wound.
That's probably the least of the problems. I just thought can't be worse, but it is. It's a 6. No, it's a 96.
Okay, so the con roll fails.
Yes.
You fall asleep with, like at some point your head just falls back,
Yeah.
and you close your eyes. The book falls onto your chest, and you sleep. You wake up the next morning because light's streaming into your room.
Mm-hmm.
What do?
I will look at the clock.
10:30.
I will put the book away and turn over again and just pull the blanket over me and will probably try to sleep a bit more.
Okay, you go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't dream. You wake up after a while.
I will just refresh myself and will go downstairs to make myself some coffee.
Make yourself some coffee. Okay.
The question is, if I go downstairs, do I see anyone, or does the kitchen look like someone was here?
You rolled a 3 on your luck roll.
Oh,
You make a
wow.
decision. Is Dottie there or not?
Honestly, I'm not sure. You have to decide, because I'm not 100% sure why Dottie is behaving like she is behaving. So I could imagine she has been downstairs to make herself breakfast.
No, I
But
mean, the thing is,
I'm not
when
sure if she
yeah.
would be waiting, because I'm very late. I'm much past her breakfast time. So
It's now 1:30.
it's more lunchtime, and I'm not sure if she would be down there or not.
Well, the thing is that when she makes breakfast and then she cleans it up, you wouldn't notice that anyone
True.
has been there.
True.
I will give you this on a 0-3.
At that time, she probably even had lunch and maybe left
Maybe.
already.
Do you go and look?
I will just probably really just go into the kitchen, will make coffee in peace and quiet, will curiously look around if I see any hints of if she has been downstairs. Like, is the newspaper lying on the
Yes.
table?
It is.
Or has the milk been brought in? Things
Yeah,
like that.
it has.
So
Yeah.
she was downstairs, and she.
Yes.
Then I will just sit at the kitchen table, just looking through the papers.
Okay. How long are you going to do this for?
Probably for a good hour. Just sipping probably 2 cups of coffee, although at least I should have had enough sleep by now. And just going through the papers quite diligently, reading everything just to keep myself from storming upstairs if she's there and just slapping her blankly in the face. But I will just read the papers.
Okay, so this is your impulse. Then
Probably
can you please...
even making the crossword in the back just to keep myself
God,
distracted.
You're really. Okay, so then please do make a sanity check. Don't forget you got 3 back.
Yeah. Sanity is. I'm quite sure. Easily a success. I rolled a 24.
Okay, so you can control your impulse of running upstairs and basically slapping her into Sunday. Are you still angry?
Yeah. Now she's home, the worried part is off the chart. Alice does not understand Dottie's behavior. She really does not understand.
Okay. At some point, she will have to move. She can't stay up there because the food is
That's
downstairs.
the thing. She understands why she stormed into the shop. She does not understand why Dottie left. And nevertheless also did not understand why she just went on, did not say anything, and then did not show up.
Okay, so she, at some point, you hear footsteps. Dottie is coming down the stairs. She comes into the kitchen.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for bringing the paper in.
You're welcome.
I think that would be the moment where Alice would put down the paper, would wash up the cup of coffee and clean everything up. And then would turn around and look at Dottie, just with a raised eyebrow. I still have no idea what got into you. But whenever you are willing to explain, that would be really nice.
Explain what exactly?
Your behavior.
You're saying you don't understand.
I understand why you stormed into the shop Although I don't say it was the right thing to do, but I understand why. Because past me probably would have done the same. But everything after that is not clear to me. What on earth is going on in your beautiful little head? But thanks for letting me sleep. At least I caught up on sleep without dreaming weird things.
Well then. At least that problem seems to be solved.
It's not solved. It's just, I think, maybe a day of rest before madness goes on.
Yeah, the madness of being hit by something invisible and then starting to bleed. And then standing there in front of me and in all honesty asking me what my problem is.
We were there for a job. If you want answers or help from someone, you have to behave in a way that you will get help and answers. I was merely in functioning mode. It would have been nice to have a friend here afterwards to panic about what happened afterwards when it was time to panic. But well, I had to deal with it on my own.
Okay. As you're saying this, you can see that she's beginning to well up. I mean, she is not crying.
Alice is not slapping her physically, but mentally she is paying for this. But I understand that you don't want to be part of this insanity. I did not choose to be part of it, but I'm trying to deal with it to get through it. I understand if you want to distance yourself from it. That is fine. We will have other jobs that will be just lost cat, stolen bags. We will have enough work to do without craziness. I will handle craziness. You have the chance to handle the normal stuff.
Okay, well, we'll see how she. I have many things that she could say right now.
Let's see.
She passed a sanity roll. You have no idea how you have just hurt me.
Well, it's the same.
And you don't need to say anything.
Well, you have no idea how you hurt me. So it's a vice versa thing now.
How?
Well, if you need a friend and help, it's lovely that the friend storms out and leaves you dumped on your own. Thank you. And I mean that. I am hurt. We promised to stick together. I did not leave you. You left me.
Okay.
Alice is really angry and hurt.
Yeah. So what now?
I honestly don't know. I know what I have to do. I'm just thinking. Today is the Sunday, or
no? It's 1 week.
Oh, in 1 week. Well, I will talk to the inspector on Monday and tell him that we already found the names.
This is not what I meant.
To be honest, you need to decide what kind of life you want to live, because my life is a crazy hot mess. And there are times when it's time to go crazy, and it's time where you have to function. And if you cannot live with me functioning when I think it's necessary, we have a problem. It's not that I want to kick you out. I want you by my side. If not, I would have never offered you a partnership or thinking that we are close friends. Honestly, you are the best friend I have. But if this is not for you, now is the time to step out. Because I can sadly tell you it will go even more crazy next weekend. So you have a week to decide if you want to join or if you say no thank you, which honestly I can't be mad about because it's probably the more sensible decision that I should do as well.
I honestly am amazed at how easily you can switch from telling me that you're hurt to completely different things. How can you distance yourself so easily from your own emotions?
Long years of training.
What do you mean? I've known you for over 10 years.
And it's something I have learned much earlier than that. Even though when my mother comes in play, it's failing drastically. With the rest I learned easily enough that you have to function when you have to function.
When I was sitting next to you in the cab and you were starting to bleed from your head, I was afraid that something terrible was going to happen. I mean, what was happening was already terrible. And when we went inside and you pretty much chastised me, I just couldn't stay. It was like you tore out my heart.
I am sorry for just switching to functioning mode, not taking in consideration that this is not something you are used to.
I have been taught how to function for a very long time, because that's what servants do.
Not only servants, to tell you, everyone is taught that way if you're in the right set of people.
I cannot win this.
There's not about winning.
It is about making sure that you understand me, but I'm not sure if you really want to.
I want to understand you. I get that I hurt you. I just can't promise it will not happen again. I will try. The only thing next time would be that I will pull you back out of the store until we both calm down. I know you're worried about me.
That's an understatement.
I just wanna solve the issue and get rid of it.
At all costs.
The problem is I'm stuck in it. I can't just go like nothing happened. It's too late for that.
No, I'm not saying that. This is dangerous. And it is probably even more dangerous than some things that we have seen. You honestly don't get it. I was mortified. I don't know why. Maybe this is all this psychoanalysis. Maybe it's, what did you call them? Hormones?
I am scared, and I am kind of freaking out. The only thing keeping everything together is functioning, planning one step after the other, because running around screaming will not help. That is my way of coping with all the insanity we have already faced and that is currently thrown at us. And I say us because even if this time it physically hit me, it's hitting you as well. I have no idea why we are stuck in all this madness. How did Maman Laval say it? I'm open to things like that. I would love to not to. I would love just to search for simple kittens that ran away. But life seemed to have other ideas.
So then tell me what you need me to do.
Decide for yourself if you want to be part of this insanity or if you want to at least try to get out. Although I'm not sure if it will be possible. I hope you decide to stay, because I'm not sure how long I would do this alone without going insane.
Of course I'm staying.
Good, because you are my anchor point in all of this.
Uh-huh. And what a faithful anchor I was.
Well, the thing is, you are still a human being, and your personality is much different than mine. You had to take care of yourself. Which is totally fine. I need to learn that as well. You are you, and we both need to see how we work together. Because this is a new way of working together. I don't want to hurt you. And I know you don't want to hurt me. We need to figure out how we face whatever is out there.
Together.
That would be the best, at least from my point of view.
Okay, you can now make an intelligence roll for me up front.
At least a success. Let me see how well. A hard success.
Oh, very good. She steps towards you very quickly and she says, that bandage, that needs to come off. I need to do this myself. It's not really sticking very well. You sit down. Do you sit down?
I will probably look quite puzzled at her for a second, and then I will just sit down.
And she goes away. She comes back with her first aid kit. She brushes back your hair and she takes off the band-aid that you put on, which was stuck to your forehead completely perfectly. There was nothing wrong with it. And then she basically gets out the iodide flask. It stings.
I will stoically get through it.
And she then basically applies another band-aid. It's exactly in the same place. Same. It looks exactly the same. Only now you smell of iodide. And then she says, there. That's much better.
Thank you. That is much better.
For what it's worth, I am sorry.
I am sorry as well.
What did Sinead say? We really deserve each other.
Well, curse and a blessing at the same time, as it seems. I will take the blessing side.
Me too. And now, for lunch.
Well, I think it would be good after all the coffee to eat something.
And maybe tonight just go to bed and try to sleep.
Well, I had to stay up and hope and pray that you get home in one piece. And after that, I still have the panic of dreaming is not a good thing. Because, to be honest, what happened in the car was not connected to our house guest.
So what was it connected to?
Our case, as it seems, probably. It was a memory, a very vivid memory.
Vivid kind of doesn't even begin to describe it.
Well,
It was physical.
yeah. Well, Maman Lavant shared the memory, at least the part that I experienced, which was not much. And the same happened to her?
How physical is this going to get? How dangerous is this going to be?
She gave me something that should keep out the physical danger if I wanna dive into the memory. Although she warned me that the memory will not be very pleasant and quite horrific. It's my decision if I wanna go there or not. She just gave me what I need to do it.
You're not going alone.
Well, we can do it probably in the backyard if we want to. Although the neighbors will talk. I'm not sure where we will do it. If we do it.
You're not going alone.
I'm not sure if you can share the same memory, or maybe we should.
I don't care, I will be there.
We'll have to figure it out anyhow, when and how it will need to take place next Sunday.
Easter.
And Maman Lavant will think about an elderly couple that is not using her services because she remembers the couple that ran the orphanage. They never were her customers. She didn't think it was odd, but now thinking about it, she says it might be really possible that it was them. Let's see what she will find out. She will call if she gets anything.
You're sitting down, she's standing in front of you. She puts her hand on your shoulder. Together.
I'll probably just put my hand on her hand. Together. And to be honest, I think today, if you're up to it, I would like maybe just go to the movies this evening. Something completely off all the madness.
Whatever you want.
And please tell me you did not stay in church that long. The poor father, I'm quite sure he wanted to close up the church.
No, I didn't.
Good.
I have money now.
You do? Well deservedly so.
I went to a hotel.
Also a good option.
Yeah,
Did you tell the poor cabbie that he should go home?
Of course.
Good.
He took me to a hotel and then I sent him home.
Perfect.
But I couldn't stay.
I'm
I had
glad
to come home.
you came home. Also, our little tiger drove me slowly mad, but, well, she was happy as well that you came home. She was sitting on the windowsill the whole evening.
Yeah, I saw her when I got out of the cab. I was half expecting that you might have done something stupid.
What?
Fall asleep on a map with your head on a wooden table. Not taking care of yourself. Not going to bed.
Well, I was sitting in the kitchen drinking hot chocolate with a little extra. No, it was
So
not
you
hot
were-
chocolate, it was coffee. I'm lying.
So you were doing something stupid.
That was the only way to stay awake and see if you will come home.
I promise I'll never do that again.
Next time, just drop me a note. I'm in a hotel, don't worry, and fuck off. And then I know I can go to sleep.
At that, she really has to laugh. And
Because
yeah, and then
it's totally fine if you feel like you need a day of distance or 2 or 3. I'm not judging. You have your own life and your own rules. Just leave me a note that I know you're safe and you're not somewhere in the gutter in the Bronx. I will do
Yeah.
the same, I promise.
Okay. So then she basically proceeds to do whatever she does when she tries to not show her true emotions, which is to busy herself in the kitchen when she can't fuss over your head wound anymore because that's done. And then she basically makes a really, it's more like lunch dinner thing because you still have the beef Wellington. And then she, and then basically you select a movie at a movie theater and you call a cab, and then the two of you go out and watch a movie.
Yes.
And then you come home, and we shall leave it there.
Oh boy.
Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for telling the story with me.
Well, vice versa. Thank you for telling the story with me, and
We
well,
will see in 2 weeks' time what happens,
Oh
because
dear.
past is only prologue.
That will be interesting.